This week on Sibriv.
No, you can't. The kid's 11. He's 11. He's not going to understand this. He's not some 22 or 23-year-old that you can have this conversation with, people.
And if when David comes home in August, if you guys are going to run to the movies without your brother or something, leave me behind again.
Probably.
No, we are
Probably.
all
I'm already planning. No, I'm already planning. I've already got it figured out. I'm looking at what movies that my brother would want to see, and I'm just going to invite my little sister.
Mike?
And specifically not invite Dana.
Hey, Mike, do you know why my sister and my brother are abandoning me?
No,
He does, because we told him.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 17 of the Sib Riv podcast. I am Dana, and I am joined here by my lovely siblings, my baby sister Michelle.
Hey.
And my big brother Dave.
Hello.
And, we're recording early this week. We have a lot going on. And as we mentioned in last week's show, Sibriv is going to be taking a little bit of a summer vacation. We're going to be taking off the month of July. I don't know.
Don't miss us too much.
Yes, try not to miss us too much. I may be adding stuff to the channel in betweens so people can keep on getting their Sibriv fix as we're on break, but we will be back first week in August. And, so this week was my week to pick our subject. And, before we get into that, I guess I should ask you two how your week has been.
My week was long, but good. I was off yesterday. I'm on vacation next week, so was playing like catch up and, just tying things up before you head out. So I had a couple long days this week, so I'm tired, but excited that we're doing this on a Friday. It's so nice. I feel more energetic for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah, my week was pretty good. I've been doing, it's the end of the fiscal year at my employer, and it's also when annual evaluations are due. So I've been doing performance evals for my 16 staff. So it's been a marathon.
That's season.
I've got 3 left to do. So I've been trucking right along. Also, World War III did not break out, contrary to what I genuinely believed would happen. So first to admit that maybe I had it wrong. Maybe the right call was made. Not that I'm all about us jumping into foreign conflicts, but I'm nothing if not real. So
you're saying we were depressed during last week's episode for nothing?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, I'll tell you why. Not for nothing, because for a while there,
I'm kidding.
I honestly, I agreed with what Dana said. I really thought we were going to jump into another regime change, like misadventure, and the fact that hasn't happened. Okay, so.
And the mainstream media is still trying to goad Trump into it. I'm going to give Trump credit. I mean, like I said last week, I thought he was going to be, if there was one person I was upset because I thought if there was one person I actually thought could make a deal, I thought it would be him. So the way it was heading last week, it felt like it was headed straight for disaster, really.
Yeah.
So I give Trump all the credit in the world for getting the ceasefire. We'll see if it holds. Hopefully it does. Hopefully this nonsense that all the war hawks and the mainstream media are trying to goad him into doing more attacks. Hopefully that doesn't work, and hopefully Trump holds strong. Hopefully, I think their bombasticness and stuff about the attacks on the nuclear being completely decimated and the media trying to say it's not. Honestly, the Trump administration is probably wrong, but they're right in the not wanting to go to war. So I'm just going to stand behind them in that. And I want him to keep saying, yep, we destroyed it. And I want him to keep trying to avoid us going into war, because if he's listening to people like the guys on the Warhawks on CNN or Fox News and them goading him into it, then we could be headed for World War III. But if he's listening to, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the voices like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens that I've been agreeing with 100% lately on war, if he's listening to them and taking their advice, then I feel pretty confident that we'll stay out of this, and I hope we do.
So I got two things to say about this. One, I think it's absolutely amazing to me that he told Netanyahu to turn the planes around, and Israel actually did. I can't believe that happened. Two, as much as I don't really care for the guy, as much as I disagree with the whole bombing thing, I think all these Democrats like AOC that are saying he should be impeached for it, I think that is absolutely ridiculous. I don't agree necessarily with bombing, but he did not misuse the War Powers Act. He let Congress know what happened. I think it's a problem that he told the Republican ranking members of the Armed Forces Committee, but not the Democrats. I think that's kind of a bitch move, but I don't think it's impeachable. So I think all these Democrats that are we need to impeach him. And, Jasmine Crockett, you need to effing tell me before you go bomb. I know she was talking about Congress and not herself personally, but it's no, he just did what every other president in my lifetime has done at some point or another. So to say that he needs to be impeached for it is ridiculous.
With the exception of one thing, he told Israel to pound sand, which is, I never in my life
never thought that would happen.
Imagined a U.S. president telling Israel basically to pound sand. As far as us, as far as how he got them to turn those planes around, I'm pretty sure he probably called them up and said he probably threatened Netanyahu that we're not going to send you any more weapons, we're not going to fund you anymore.
That's the only thing I can think of is that he said the U.S. will cut off all aid to you if you go through with this.
Yeah, like I said, I
can't
disagree.
imagine any other threat happen we're actually working. So
I disagree with Trump on almost every other single thing that he does, but this I'm in 100% agreement with him on. So I am praising him. I am congratulating him. I hope this holds. I hope it's real. I hope, it seems to be the last person in the room with him has the most influence on him. So I'm just hoping that all the anti-war people are the last in the room with him, so that we can stay out of this because, it's crazy. So.
I was just super depressed because last week it looked like he took a hard neocon turn, and
yes.
I you know what, to kind of make it clear to my listeners, I hate the neoconservatives the way most people that hate Trump. So the immediate visceral, I want to scream and pull my hair out. That's how I feel about people like John Bolton, Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld. I can't stand any of those people. So it looked like that was the direction he was going in last weekend. Very happy to, say that he's not first to admit, hey, if my immediate gut reaction was wrong and this turned out to be the right move, then hey, that's, ultimately I'm cheering for whoever's in office to actually do a good job and do the right thing, regardless of whether I like them or not, because it only helps our country. So,
well, that's the whole point, right? No matter who you vote for, you still want the country to do well.
Yeah, and this is this isn't a left-right thing. I mean, we should all be anti-war. No one should want us. This whole
not
nonsense,
all of us are anti-war, though. That's
but this whole nonsense of I don't know if you've heard some of the nonsense from the media that it's unpatriotic to not want us to go into war. Are you kidding me? The unpatriotic for us not to want our soldiers to die for something that has to fight a country that was really literally from our own intel no threat to us. So I think there are wings of the left and the right that were anti-war that could unite over this one thing. And, I think that we need to stay out of it. I think that there's a far more people in America that are against going to war over there than are in favor of it. And the sooner that the mainstream media and the war hawks and the neocons realize that, the better, because there's more of us than there are of them. So, I just say everyone, we should all come together and agree on this one thing, right? Stop this one thing from happening, and then we can go back to fighting over the meaningless little stuff we fight within the country. First, let's keep ourselves out of a war, and then we can fight about what a woman is, okay? So,
Since we're on the political topic, I know we're a bunch of Bostonians, but I think we should have a moment of silence for New York City because Zohran Mamdani looks like he is going to win the post of New York mayor. I don't know if you guys have read about this in the news. I
have
don't know
not.
if you've looked at his platform. He is going to. He won the primary, I think. He is probably going to be elected mayor, even though the election hasn't happened yet. I have no doubt that New Yorkers are
Well,
going to
don't
put
be
him.
so sure, David. The Democrats
No.
are putting everything they can into stopping him.
The
I mean,
Democratic
there's-
establishment is doing everything they can to stop him, but I think he's actually going to win. And I think that is it for New York City. That place is going to be a desolate wasteland because he will bring it down to its knees. If you look at the things that he wants to do,
Really?
the biggest thing, he's no. Let's replace our police officers with social workers. I'm sorry. I'm speaking as a mental health therapist.
Oh.
Let me tell you something. So crime's going to shoot up. He's going to make crime worse. If you do that, if you do more cuts to police, look, I watched this happen at Portland, Oregon, which used to be a really great, really awesome city when I first visited in 2012. After 2020, when they cut their police funding, gun violence shot up, gang violence shot up, homicides shot up. It's basically just a wasteland, and the same thing's going to happen in New York. And he literally wants to replace police officers with social workers, which I speak as a mental health therapist. That is ridiculous. Not all crime is because of mental health issues. Some people are just bad people. You can treat something like depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. You can treat those things. You cannot treat somebody who is antisocial and just does not care about the rights of other people. You can't treat selfishness. You cannot treat those things. So this idea that people like AOC and other progressives like to push, that crime is only a result of external factors, societal factors like, racism or because of mental health concerns. No, it doesn't really work like that. Some people are just genuinely garbage people. And the only way to protect society is to keep those people from being allowed to wreak havoc in society. This guy's not going to do that. He talks a good game, but I think he is going to be the ruin of New York City completely. No question.
Well, we'll see.
You heard it here first.
You have to give everyone a chance, and that's what the people of New
No,
York
you
voted
don't.
for. That's what
No, you don't.
That's what the people of New York voted for. So
Yeah, they're it's like the people of California or in LA County. I bet they're so angry at Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bassett. They're so pissed off they're actually going to vote for different Democrats this time. It's just, come on, man. You don't have to give,
what was the alternative? Voting for Cuomo, who was responsible for how many thousands of deaths from sticking people with COVID back in nursing homes and then trying to cover it up? Give me a break, David. Come on, give me a break. Cuomo ran a horrible campaign. He deserved to lose. I just, where the
hell do you get this idea that because I'm saying this guy's going to be the ruin of New York City, that's somehow a defense of Cuomo? Are you kidding me? You think I don't agree with everything you just said?
I'm just saying, that's why he's there. That's probably, and also we're in this moment right now where people are just going against the establishment. They don't want the same thing over and over and over again. So it's kind of the same thing with Trump. People, he's an outsider. He's not establishment. People voting for him are basically voting for him to tear it down. Same thing in New York. They're basically voting for this guy to tear it down.
This is fun. I think I should do more podcasts after drinking my apple juice more often.
I think we need to switch our record nights to Friday nights. This is awesome. I also think we just found David's new merch, a shirt or a mug or something that says you can't treat selfishness. I can't even say it.
It's true.
And I'm literally drinking only cranberry juice in Fresca.
I was just thinking of a merch for Dave with like a sippy cup t-shirt or something. Dave drinks from a sippy cup. All right. Enough politics. I was afraid you were going to go with a different argument, so whatever.
What argument did you think I was going to go with?
The other argument that everyone's been saying that he hates America and he's a Muslim.
Because he's a Muslim? I don't listen.
Super
listen,
racist.
I'm tired.
Because the media is convinced I'm trying to make us believe that every Muslim in the world hates us. 1.3 billion Muslims in the world absolutely hate the United States and want to kill us all. That's what they want. That's what they're dead set on trying to convince us all. And it's like super, super. I don't like to say Islamophobic, but Muslim phobic and racist kind of. So
Yeah.
So
Yes. No, that is not. Honestly, I really, really, I had no idea that he was a Muslim until I read about him, and then I started reading his platform, and that, because I saw all the headlines like his victory in the primary sent shockwaves through the Democratic Party. I think I have a both and attitude towards it. One, I think he really is going to be like the death knell for New York City because I think he is going to be mayor, and I think he puts his policies into effect, and I think everything gets even worse than it is right now.
I don't know. It's super corrupt under Eric Adams. So
no, you know what? I think those charges are trumped up because Eric Adams came out and said, and he went against the party line about immigration, and I think he started speaking a little bit too much truth to the powers that be, and I think that's why they pushed that indictment so hard on him. I really do think that
could be. There was one more thing I was going to say about that too. Yeah, I don't know. I forget what I was going to say about that. But
we are from Boston. What am I saying? Yes, New York. Vote for this guy. Vote for this guy for your wonderful city.
I hope he proves you wrong, Dave.
I love New York.
I'm sure you do, Dana.
Okay.
He's not going to prove me wrong. I'll bet you whatever. I'll bet you my soul that he's not going to prove me wrong.
I'm not betting souls.
I know, because you don't believe in souls.
Oh, we're spicy tonight.
Dave's trying to trigger me. He thinks he's going to trigger me by attacking.
I'm not trying to trigger you.
Oh, I'm gonna trigger Dana by attacking a progressive mayoral candidate from a different city.
Actually. Oh, are you now a Mom Donnie guy?
Am I a Mondani guy?
Every time politics comes up and I talk about my little brother, I'm like, he's a Bernie guy, and I have to say it like a don't judge me. He's a Bernie guy.
Oh my god!
I'm joking. Do I now have to say he's a Mamdani guy?
I will and will always be a Bernie Sanders independent.
Now I am just trying to push your buttons. Sorry.
But yeah, I think Mondani's got an exciting campaign. I think he had an exciting campaign. I think he's got a strong message for the people. I think that people, people in New York, people in any city really, what they want are clean streets, safe neighborhoods, make sure the garbage is picked up on time. I mean, if he does all the stuff that he's supposed to do executively and efficiently, I'm
maybe
sure
be able to walk down the street without taking a stray bullet.
Maybe he could. Maybe he's got ideas for that.
But a social worker's not going to prevent that from happening. I'm just saying.
I'm sure. Well, you know what? There's a thing that happens when people get into office, and they're hit with the harsh. Speaking as someone that's come into political office, you're hit with a harsh reality of a lot of things that you did not prepare for, that you were not aware of prior to getting into. No one is ever 100% prepared for the position they're about to take, especially in political leadership. You can prepare as much as you want to, you can do as much reading, but until you're in that role and you get the information that you weren't privy to before because you didn't have the classified access to it, it's when you're in the moment. Unfortunately, it's one of those jobs that you kind of just learn on the fly. And a lot of people say you don't want someone that's going to learn on the fly, but anyone that ever takes that position for the first time is going to be learning that position on the fly because you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't have access to it before you get there. So you can have all these grand ideas about what you want to do, but once you get in the office, you suddenly have the harsh reality of dealing with the politics of it all, the bureaucracy of it all, the reality of it all, really. So, I wish whoever ends up winning that race luck. Hopefully I hope it is him. And because if Cuomo stays in, or if Eric Adams stays in, and it's one of these establishment candidates that ends up winning, that's more of the same, which is not what the people want. The people are voting for him because they want something different. They want
So
something different than what they're
Cuomo
getting.
conceded. Cuomo conceded.
He did concede it,
called
and he
him.
said today. But he
Called
said
him.
today he's considering running in the general election still. He conceded the
think
Democratic nomination, but he's still considering running in the general.
Do you think the party is making him do that? Like, do you think
Yes.
they put some kind
The
of
party
pressure
is they're trying to torpedo Mondani's campaign. So, which is all the more reason I want him to win. I see the thing is that people think because I'm a lefty and I'm all blue no matter who, vote Democrat no matter what. No, I want the establishment Democrats. I want that party to crumble. I want the Republican establishment to crumble. I want the Democratic Party to crumble. They're responsible for so much of what's wrong with the city, and people don't realize this country. Democrats and Republicans, the establishment, are two sides of the same coin.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this past week. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they all been saying the same thing about going into war. They're all for it. They're all guns blazing for it. They wanted us to go into war. So when it comes down to it, they're all two sides of the same coin when it comes to establishment politics. And I'm 100% eliminate the establishment, bring in populism. Trump's a populist, Republican. I'm a populist progressive. So, that's why I follow closely to Bernie's politics, because he's a populist progressive. So, anyways, enough about politics. Let's talk about the subject of the night.
advising the internet instead of advising the political process.
Yeah. I picked out some terrific stories, very topical for us heading into the summer. We have a story about a wedding. We have a story about a birthday party, and we have a story about a unknown sibling. All things that these siblings can relate to.
Dana and I know about unknown siblings.
So, our first story of the evening that we would like to go over. Am I overreacting that my fiance isn't invited to the wedding because the bride doesn't want people thinking she is prettier than her? So this came from a 26-year-old male. My lifelong best friend, also a 26-year-old male, is getting married later this year. When he first got engaged, he asked me to be one of the groomsmen. I obviously accepted, and I've been excited for the wedding and to see my best friend get married. His fiancée, 26 female, and my fiancée, 25 female, have always gotten along really well. The four of us hang out pretty frequently and have a great time, and there's never been any problems. My fiancé has always considered her a friend and has been extremely happy for them and excited about their wedding. His fiancé has even asked my fiancé for her thoughts and suggestions on certain decor for the wedding, venues, colors, things like that. The official wedding invitations were sent out recently, and when it arrived at our house, I noticed it was only addressed to me, and it also didn't say anything about bringing a +1. I was kind of surprised by this because I had been assuming that my fiancé would be invited, given the fact that I've been with my fiancé for 4 years, longer than he has been with his fiancée. He has been my best friend since preschool, and the four of us hang out all the time, and some of my family members received invitations to the wedding as well. But before jumping to conclusions, I thought maybe none of the other groomsmen got maybe none of the groomsmen or other friends of the bride and groom are allowed to have +1s due to the cost of things like that, since weddings are obviously expensive. The groomsmen are all friends of mine and his, so I called them to see if their significant others were invited. Turns out every single one of them received an invitation that included their significant other. And the bridesmaid all get to bring their significant others as well. So at that point, I called him to let him know that I got the invitation, but that my fiancée was not included on the invitation, and I asked why, if it was just an error or they had forgotten to include her on it. That's when he informed me that his fiancée doesn't want my fiancée coming to the wedding because she doesn't want all of the guests thinking that my fiancée is prettier than her. Now, I will say, my fiancée is insanely gorgeous. If I had a penny every time someone asked me how I managed to get her, I would be a billionaire. On the other hand, his fiancée isn't the most conventionally attractive woman. I feel bad saying that, and it's something that I have never said out loud to anyone, but I'm going to say it on Reddit. But for context to the situation, I wanted to include that on here. Now, you might read this paragraph and think it's fake. This user deleted this post. I saw this a few months ago and I had to search for it. So this user deleted this post. I think it may have actually caused drama, which leads me to believe this may be real.
Maybe.
I told him that I know that this is not my wedding and I don't get to pick the guest list, but I think it's a bit unfair and ridiculous that my fiance, who they are friends with, is the only significant other of the whole entire wedding party that doesn't get to come to the wedding because his fiance is worried people will think she is prettier than her. I told him that his fiance is the bride, so everyone is going to be looking at her and no one is going to be focusing on my fiance, who isn't even a bridesmaid, so she's not even going to be standing up front of everyone instead. He said that he agrees with me and that he has already tried multiple times to explain this to his fiancée, but she won't budge and is insistent that everyone will think my fiancée is prettier. So I ended up telling him that I cannot be a groomsman or attend the wedding because in my eyes it's not fair to my fiancée for me to attend or be in a wedding where she is the only significant other not invited due to the bride's own insecurities. He's upset with me and thinks I'm overreacting, but I just don't think this is fair. My fiance told me not to worry about her and that I should be part of my best friend's big day. But even with my fiance being completely fine with me going, I honestly don't want to be around the bride. All right, you two. So thoughts?
My first thought, always, whenever I read these Reddit stories, is I think they're all fake. There's no way that people in real life have these problems. I have never come across a real life problem like this. It's crazy to me. I mean, I know some of them are real, but people need new friends, better people in their lives. That's my initial thought.
I think this one is real. I really do.
Oh my gosh.
I thought this was fake when I first read it a couple months ago because I had bookmarked it. I was like, oh, this is going to be a good one for a show at some point. And then I went back to try to find it when I knew we were going to be doing this show, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I ended up finding this on a different Reddit that someone had captured the screenshots because the person had deleted it. And like I said, so I think because he deleted it, I think it's actually real, and I think he caused some problems with his friend and the fiance. I think this actually may be one of the rare occasions where it's as ridiculous as it is. I think it's real.
It's just wild to me.
Fight me, Caitlin, because I know Caitlin's gonna tell me this is fake. This is fake. She always says it's fake.
Caitlin thinks it's fake. Okay. I actually think it's real. So here are my thoughts about it. So number one, good on this guy that wrote this for not jumping to conclusions and first asking his friend, like, hey, because it's really easy, right? You get pissed off, like, why wasn't my fiance invited? Good for him on like checking himself and be like, all right, let me find out first, right? I think a lot of problems would be solved or never even start in the first place if people would just not make assumptions, bring it to the source, have a conversation, which he did.
Agreed.
I don't think he's overreacting at all. I further say good on him for saying, you know what? I've been with my fiance a long time. This is who I'm going to marry. You guys are friends with her too. You're basically disinviting her to the wedding and not inviting anybody else. I think he's doing the right thing, but I would do the same thing. I'd be like, you know what? I'm not going to be in your wedding either. I'm not going to go.
Even though you guys have been friends since what is it, first grade?
Would a really good friend stand for the fact that the person you love isn't going to come to your wedding? You know what I mean? Like if it's my best friend. So if I'm about to get married and the woman, first of all, I wouldn't marry a woman who had that idea. Like, I mean, what this guy said is true. Everybody's eyes are on the bride. No one gives a shit about anybody else. I don't care how drop dead, quote unquote, gorgeous this guy's girlfriend or fiance is. No one cares. Everyone is going to be looking at the bride.
I agree. I don't think it has anything to do with her looks. I think something else is going on, and that is why she's not invited. I don't know if this friend was like mentioned one time to her, like, oh, my buddy's girl is wicked hot, and then from then on out she was could be something
that
like
never
that.
Even crossed my mind.
That didn't cross my mind either.
Yeah, like I don't think that it's like, oh, she's gonna, like, everyone's gonna think she's prettier than me. I think the person that she is going to be looking at is going to be thinking that she is prettier than the bride. You know what I mean? Like she's going to be looking at her groom, who she thinks is going to be thinking that this other woman looks hot or better
Well, maybe if
or
she didn't look
whatever.
like a freaking troll. I mean, come on, give me a break. I mean, that's basically what the guy said. She's basically a troll, is what he's implying.
Not conventionally attractive. What does that mean? Does that mean like good personality? She's got a good personality.
It means she's very unfortunate looking. That's what it means.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with people are going to be looking at her thinking that she's prettier. I think there's more to this story that we're not getting.
Well, there's no updates because this guy deleted the post. In fact, the other two are like brand new, so there's no updates on those either. They're very, very recent. So maybe those people will watch this episode and take advice from us,
Yes.
in real time. So
Well-
some of the top comments. A plus-size woman who has suffered a lot of insecurities about my body and looks over the years. To be honest, I still am some days. But if I was getting married, you could have Jennifer Aniston at my wedding and I wouldn't care. The only person's opinion that would matter is my husband-to-be, which makes me think that maybe Shelley's right. If he doesn't think that I am the prettiest woman in the room, then he's not the man for me.
True.
But anyone else, let them think what they want. But if it's your wedding, surely it's filled with family and friends, people you love, people who love you. So again, as the original poster said, everyone will be looking at the bride and nobody else. You did the right thing. Standing by your fiance is definitely the right thing to do. If your best friend wouldn't do the same for his bride, why is he getting married? Your fiance is your family, potentially the mother of your future children, the woman who will be by your side through thick and thin. If your friend doesn't see that, he isn't a man, and he really shouldn't be in that relationship, let alone getting married. The bride needs some serious therapy to get over herself. She should be so excited for the best day of her life, but yet she's more concerned about another woman's beauty. This is an insult to other plus ones, so they're ugly enough to attend the wedding. What the?
I didn't even think about that either.
Maybe
awesome.
that's a good point.
It's also discriminating against someone who can't control what their face looks like. I don't think the bride realizes how messed up this is to cut someone out based on looks. This is the definition of shallow and insecure. I feel bad for the bride if this is the type of thought that enters her mind. Of course, you can't say that to her, but you could say something like, how someone's face looks shouldn't affect a friendship. And general consensus on Reddit was the person was not overreacting.
I just don't know how. I know what you're saying, Dave. Like, what kind of friend is he to not be able to like stand up to his future wife? And
No, what I'm
say-
saying is
But
you stick with the person you're going to marry. And if you're
I
not willing
know.
to stand with them, then why are you getting married? You shouldn't be getting married to that person.
I just I hate the fact I'm looking at the friendship piece of it. Like they've been friends since first grade, and he's gonna miss his buddy's wedding. I don't know. That just makes me sad. I can't help it. But I know what you're saying. Like that is a good point. But it still makes me sad to think that this friendship that's been going for what, like 20, they're 26, right? So like 20 years, and you're not going to be at your friend's wedding. I don't know, that just makes me sad. I don't like when people have
Not-
regrets.
Not all 20-year friendships are worth keeping. Let me just throw that out there.
I know.
Some
Shots
friendships
fired.
are built.
Shots
Some
fired.
yeah. Some friendships are built on a throne of lies.
I think my brother's hitting that apple juice a little too hard tonight.
Not a throne of lies, a foundation of lies. A foundation of lies. You're built upon a foundation of lies. All I'm saying is
I like that you have
listen,
to do the accent with that too.
You sit upon a throne of lies. Anyway, listen. All I'm saying is they've been friends since preschool. Most of those types of friendships are built on proximity and convenience, not actual connection. That's all I'm saying.
All right, fine, you win.
I mean, I gave up a promise. Mom told me I could have been a pro baseball player, and I gave up playing baseball because the friend group I had made didn't like sports.
Well, that was
Am
your
I still friends with
decision.
any? It was my decision.
Don't
but you
blame
know
your
what?
friends because you
I'm
didn't
gonna-
have the backbone to stand up to them.
Well, you know what? I know that it would be petty for me to blame other people, but you know what? The other problem is other people. It's not me. So there. Anyway, that's not my point. Foolish decisions made in my youth is not my point. My point is just because these guys have been friends since preschool doesn't mean that they actually are genuinely connected, right?
Right.
I think if they were, and maybe they really are. Maybe that's why this was taken down. Maybe what Dana's saying is right, is that this guy caused like major drama, and now something happened, and yeah.
Yeah, because it
Oh,
does sound
oh,
like
I've done it. I've made my brother ready for vacation. Yes.
that's
It
been
said
up there
that the
whole
entire
time.
episode.
You're so observant.
Nothing escapes my steel trap gaze. I'm just saying he brought the close up. So clearly he wants everybody to know at this point. I'm tired of listening to my big brother's wisdom. I've had to listen to it all my 40 some odd years of life. Him always being right about everything, and now I'm ready for a vacation. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god. We are
Love
off
you,
the
bro.
rails.
Anyway, I didn't mean to
What
take
I-
over the
Maybe
conversation.
we should have bought Dave a binky for tonight to match his sippy cup.
What I was gonna say is that it does sound like the friend tried to have a conversation with the wife and like was saying like, I don't like, basically, hey, future wife, you're being crazy, let's invite this person. So it sounds like maybe there was a conversation on that end, but we
So,
we don't
in my
know that
therapist's
part.
opinion,
Yes.
the friend didn't try with his fiance hard enough. So,
Oh, okay. All right. Fine.
I would agree with that. Probably that's probably what happened. I also think that a huge fight broke out,
yes, I agree with my
Yeah.
brother.
friendship-
A huge fan.
and a friendship was ended, and this guy deleted the post.
That's crazy.
All right, story number 2.
All right.
This one's about a birthday. Also, another thing we'll be doing this month. Am I overreacting for telling my mother-in-law she can't throw a separate birthday party for my son just to outdo mine? My son is turning 5 next month, and I've been planning a small backyard birthday party for him. He's obsessed with dinosaurs, so I am doing a dino theme with a piñata, fossil dig game, and a cute T-Rex cake that I'm making myself. It's not fancy, but it's what he loves, and we're keeping it chill since money's tight.
Can I
My
just
mother-
interrupt for 1 second? Pinatas are not cheap, so the fact that money's
they're
tight
not.
and she's making this work, she to me is like super mom. Go on. Sorry.
I agree
My-
with what my sister said. Yes,
My
for the
mother-in-law,
record.
my mother-in-law, Karen, of course her name would be Karen,
Of course.
has always been over the top. Last week, she called and said she's throwing a better birthday party for my son at her house the day before mine. She's booked a bounce house, a magician, and a catered taco truck. She didn't ask me or my husband. She just decided it was happening and invited all of her friends' kids, not even my son's classmates. I told her that we're already having a party, and she can't just plan a separate one without even talking to us. She laughed and said, "Oh, honey, kids love big parties, and I'm just giving him the best day ever." She posted pics on Instagram of the bounce house with a caption like, "Getting ready for my grandson's epic birthday bash." People are now texting me, confused about which party they're supposed to attend. I finally told her she's not throwing a separate party because it's my son's day, not hers. She's now crying to my husband that I am denying her grandma rights. My husband thinks I should let her do it to avoid a fight, but I am so annoyed. Am I overreacting for shutting this down?
Nope.
No, Nope.
Absolutely not.
nope.
No. This mother-in-law needs to stay in her lane. She needs to stay in her lane.
This writer needs to open up her purse. She needs to pull out her husband's balls, give them back to him so that he can stand up to his mom. Hey, I'm just saying. Also, I would like to say, I know like it's become common to like talk about Karens, but literally every woman I've ever known named Karen has been a genuinely lovely person. So
Oh, good.
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm thinking of 3 Karens right off the top of my head that I have known personally that have actually been very lovely people who never complain to the manager, I'm assuming. They don't come off as the type of people that would complain to the manager.
I will say my insurance agent's name is Karen, and she is a lovely person. However, I can think of some Karens that are pretty horrible. I can think of a Karen that probably killed her boyfriend with her car too. So.
Oh
I've also-
my god!
Oh my. Okay.
You just had to, Dave. You had to bring up the name Karen. We
Let's
went
stay on- let's stay on
almost 2
track.
episodes
Let's stay
without
on track.
bringing.
Let's stay on track. Let's stay on
Okay.
track.
Yeah, I think that this grandmother, should attend the party that the mother is throwing. Like, she has a whole party planned with what this kid wants, right? Dino, fossil. I mean, I want to dig for fossils. That sounds fun. This is my kind of party. I love this. I love this idea. And she booked a taco truck for a 5-year-old's birthday party.
Intimate. Like, yeah. This.
Why couldn't she have called the daughter and said, or daughter-in-law, and said, "Hey, I know you're having a party, on this day. I would love to help. Could I book a bounce house for your house? Can that be my gift to, to grandson here? Like, and can I help with the party?" Why did that conversation not take place? Instead, she's just deciding to throw another party? Who does that?
It is a competition.
Karen's
With-
mother-in-law does
With
that.
mother-in-law, it's
You
a
know what?
competition.
I have the best mother-in-law ever then, because I can't imagine my mother-in-law ever doing something like this. This is
Yes,
crazy.
I can imagine an in-law doing something like this, sadly. So, my mother-in-law is great, and nothing like this would ever happen in our family.
Well, I'm telling
Right,
you
Caitlin?
now, my mother-in-law would not do this. She just wouldn't. I don't know. I know there are crazy mother-in-laws out there, but this is, again, she needs to stay in her lane. And I think the husband needs to back up the wife and be like, "Hey, Mom, we're having one party. See you at it." Click.
Yeah, I mean, it's your kid and your spouse come first, and if there's an issue between the in-law and the spouse, you have to side with the spouse, unless they're so blatantly wrong,
Right.
And the in-law is correct. But in this case, I mean, this is just clearly a situation where the mother-in-law, she could be completely oblivious, but to what she's doing, she could be subconsciously trying to outdo her daughter-in-law, and just trying to vie for her grandson's affection. But yeah, it's so completely inappropriate to go about it the way she did. And yeah, your suggestion is correct. What can I do to chip in? Maybe I can chip in with a taco. I can pay for the taco
Yeah,
truck to come to the
yeah.
party. I know money's tight. Let me chip in for the taco truck. Why does
Yeah.
he have to go, "Oh, let's get a bounce house. Let's do all this." The kid's
Yeah.
5 years old, right? He's not going to remember much about this birthday party. He's going to remember it through pictures.
It's not about the kid.
Yeah.
It's not about
Yeah.
the kid. It's literally written out
Yeah.
there that the mother, she's throwing a quote unquote better, I'm assuming that's the mother-in-law's word, birthday party for her kid. I'm going to throw a better party for him because the party that you planned for your own son just isn't good enough. It's not about the kid at all. It's about the
Yeah.
mother-in-law, her stroking her own ego, assuming this is real. I think it's real because
It's real.
I do think this one is real. But again,
Pretty confident
when
it's
I
real.
read it, I go, who are these people? And why do they have these people in their lives? They need new people.
I just want to take this opportunity to say that my own in-laws, all of them, not just including my mother-in-law, but my in-laws in general, are very gracious people. I can't imagine them doing anything like this. They treat me very well.
Yeah, same. My
Like-
in-laws
like,
have treated me
I
like
can't see
their
them
own.
doing something so I don't,
Like, yeah.
Well, from experience, I can tell you that this story is probably real. Let's see what Reddit thinks.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Don't take your son to grandma's party. She didn't invite his friends, which we didn't even talk about.
Yeah.
So it clearly isn't for him. It's just to make her look
They
good.
said- Yep.
yeah.
Tell everyone that you're busy that day, so you can't attend Grandma's little party, but you hope that everyone you invited can turn up to your son's birthday party as planned. Word it like that. Grandma's party one day, son's birthday party the next. Make it very clear, Grandma's party has nothing to do with your son. Tell your husband to grow up and start standing up to his mother. Make it very clear that neither you nor your son will be attending his mother's party, and that he needs to learn to prioritize his wife and child, his immediate family, over his mother and his extended family. Pretty much what I said, too.
Yeah.
She did not do this out of the goodness of her heart. She did this to be spiteful. I'm not so sure it was to be spiteful, but I think it's more of a competition with her. Let her cry all day if she wants to tell your husband to find his spine and his balls to stand up for you and your son at the end of the day.
Did Dave write that?
Yes,
Dave
I
did
that
not write
post?
that comment.
Dave hopped in here. Dave hopped in. I sent the story over to Dave, and he hopped right in there. At the end of the day, he needs to get his priorities in order, so that, and that doesn't include his mother in this situation. Don't give in to her. Do your son's day your way, or really your son's way. And the Reddit verdict, overwhelmingly not overreacting.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
I want to go to that dino party. I want to dig for
I do
fossils.
too.
That
I
sounds
do
fun,
too.
right?
That sounds really
T-Rex
awesome.
cake? Sign me up. Love it.
Although bouncy houses are fun. So
I know.
The mother-in-law is,
That's
like-
why I said, like, she should have offered, like, hey, let me get the bouncy house. Because let me tell you, I have my best friend, 3 boys. They love jumping in the bouncy house, and they love when Mike and I jump in with them. And I love jumping in the bouncy house. It is the best thing ever.
It is the best thing. So can I tell you
love it.
guys? I went my ex-wife, my most recent ex-wife, several years ago, had there was some kind of party. There was a bouncy house there, and I think this is what pretty much made me on the outs with Jess's family. I'm sure there are other things, but there was a bouncy house at a family party, and all the kids were using it. And I went in and used it. I was the only adult that went in and used it, and I was just like having a blast with the kids.
Yeah, it's
And
the
I'm
best.
pretty sure everybody judged me for that, but that's how I knew that family wasn't for me.
Well, they
'Cause
saw
I'm
you
like,
sitting
you know
there.
what?
They saw you sitting there bouncing with your sippy cup of apple juice in the bouncy house.
There's no beverages allowed in the bouncy
No
house.
beverages allowed in the
and
bouncy
no
house.
shoes.
And
I
no
mean,
shoes.
I like you guys know I've had bouncy houses as an adult. I have had, I think, 2 or 3 bouncy homes, houses.
Why have I not been invited?
We had one
to
for Hunter's
these?
birthday party last year with the water
Yeah,
slide.
we had the water slide last year.
oh,
That was,
so
and
much
again,
fun.
that was I had called Dana and said we would like
You know
to
what?
do this for his 16th birthday. We think he
You know
would
what?
love it.
Good
And
looking
Dana
out
and
for your big
Caitlin-
bro. Good looking out
so
for your
you
big
know what?
bro.
When you come on in August, we'll rent a bouncy house, and you and I can.
Yeah, you'll rent the
Yeah.
bouncy house for the day after
definitely
I
have to do
leave.
We definitely have to do this for the
After I
podcast.
No. You'll rent the bouncy house for the day after I leave. You'll have a party
No.
on the
Mr.
day
Dramatic.
after I leave.
Mr.
Yeah.
Dramatic over here.
I will have it delivered that Friday. You're going to be here, right? I will have it delivered that Friday. We will bounce our little
Stop.
hearts out.
My flight goes back at like 6 a.m. on Saturday, so
Okay, so we can bounce till like 8 o'clock. It'll be fine. That's
we can bounce all night, and then
Yeah.
I'll just jump on the plane.
then I'll bounce home. But yeah, I mean, I think my the need I wanted a bouncy house was because I just think we never had some of that stuff growing up. We never had a bouncy house when we were little kids. We never had the piñata when we were little kids. We had parties, don't get me wrong, but I wanted the stuff that when you would go to a party, those families, but those were like the rich kids, like, oh, I'm going to so-and-so's house. They have a piñata. So now, naturally I need a piñata at my 30th birthday and my 32nd birthday. And I got Mike a piñata for his 30th birthday. Anyway. Moving on.
Moving on. All right, Dave.
Can I ask a question? Wait, like before we go on, this is totally random.
Ask.
Totally random. Who is my nephew's favorite? Mason specifically. He's the basketball fan. Who's his
Hunter,
favorite
too.
basketball player?
Hunter,
Oh,
too.
Hunter also. Who are their favorite basketball players?
Hunter would be Kyrie. Mm-hmm. And
Oh, Hunter. Oh, come on, man.
And Mason would be Steph
Anyway.
Curry, I think.
Okay. That's understandable.
Hunters may have changed over the past couple of years, but for the longest time it was Kyrie.
I'll allow it.
Completely
Okay.
random. Completely random.
That was totally I was just thinking about it because I was
Well,
thinking about
I
our
honked
top
on him for
fives.
years about how he. I wish he wasn't his favorite player, but the kids choose their own favorites. They don't
That's
just go by
true.
what
They do.
they don't
They
go
do.
by what Dad and Uncle Dave say. They go by what their little hearts tell them. So
Well,
You know.
they should. They should not listen to their own
Yes.
internal hearts and listen to other people.
no, they should listen to their own.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, boys.
all growing
That's
up,
not
my
what I'm
favorite-
saying.
I
My
was gonna
favorite
say
baseball
they
player-
listen to this. They listen to our podcast.
Do they
favorite-
really?
Yeah.
my favorite baseball player growing up, from the time I was like 6 years old until I was well into my teens and 20s, was David Justice, and I got nonstop hate
Yes.
from all my friends for having David Justice be my favorite baseball player.
My little brother doesn't remember this, but I remember him complaining about that one day and me telling him that David Justice was a good choice because he was a good player. Dana doesn't remember that, but I said that. I was at one point a supportive big brother. It didn't happen often, but sometimes there were shining moments where I came through. And actually, David Justice, I don't know why you would get hate for that. He really wasn't that bad of a player.
He wasn't. It's because he wasn't a Boston player.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to hate the Braves when we were back then in the 90s for
They
whatever
were
reason.
so dominant.
One of
Yeah.
you guys had a Braves hat, I feel like.
It was me.
Isn't that
Dana.
the A? It's
It was
got the
Dana.
A on the top?
Yeah,
because I
it
was
was
a
Dana.
huge Braves fan, because I was a huge David Justice fan.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm surprised he didn't make your list now that we're talking about
because
this.
David Ortiz came along
Oh.
and stole my heart.
I have to tell you that Mike was very...
Love you, Big Poppy.
I don't know if I would say Mike was very upset, but he was quite shocked that no one had a Celtics player in their top 5.
I gave an
Like, not
honorable
one.
mention to
Yeah.
DJ.
That
I
didn't
gave an
matter to
honorable
him.
mention to DJ.
That
Bird
didn't
and-
matter to him.
Bird and Bill Russell would be in my top 10, but
Yeah. I'm just saying. He texted me in the middle. He's like, not one Celtics player? I'm like, you're lucky that I even came up with 5 athletes that I could put on a list. And I'm
Yeah,
like, this-
Shelly. Why didn't you come through for your husband? I mean, that's the way I look at it.
I can't stand
You could have picked a
tonight.
Celtic.
yeah, I'm sure if your mother-in-law made a list, she would have Celtics on our list.
Oh my god.
Well, we know that Mikhail would have made our mom's
Oh, yes.
list,
Oh,
right?
that's true.
I mean, I was gonna say Larry Bird, but like he's not like my favorite athlete. I just know he was a good athlete. I can't be like, yeah, rah rah, Larry Bird. You know?
Anyway.
And yeah. Yeah, he. Oh, that. I think more. It was specifically was that it wasn't like no Paul Pierce. Like, no one had him on his list.
Well, you know what? You can tell Mike that I'm disappointed that his big brother and top 5 guitarist would list Dave Mustaine as one of the guitarists that he hated the most. And I happen to like Dave Mustaine, and that really disappointed me. So some of us, Mike, have to deal with disappointment in our lives. Some of us know exactly what you're feeling right now. People you know and their family members not coming through.
Side
wanted to
note,
throw that
side
I
note,
bet-
Mike's brothers watch the podcast.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think that brother watches the podcast.
Well, Bob, as much as I've always held you in high regard, and as much as I've enjoyed, like in high school, I used to listen to Bob play music in the band room in high school. He would play guitar, and he would tell me all the time he hated Dave Mustaine. He hated him as a guitarist. He thought he was the absolute worst. And I'm like thinking to myself
wait,
the whole time,
wait a minute,
I like
wait,
him.
Wait, yes.
I've held
yes,
that in for
yes.
31 years now.
Yes, President Trump, it's great to hear from you. Yes. Tell David to stop dropping bombs? Oh, okay, I will. All right.
Oh my god.
All right. This last Reddit advising the internet
Why
needs...
are you yelling? Have another.
Why are you yelling?
I don't know if
And neither do any of our listeners.
No, well, Archie will know it, and the boys, will know it.
First of all, keeping your big bro out of the private joke, not cool. Second of all, I'm not yelling. I'm speaking with passion.
So that means
This
we have to pay
last-
attention to you
no,
right?
no. According to David's logic, because he's speaking with passion and emotion, we have to totally disregard everything he's saying.
Yeah, just because
Shit,
you say
remember?
it louder doesn't mean
right.
that it makes you right.
Damn.
Dave logic.
Trapped.
Okay, everyone. How long-
Trapped by my own infallible wisdom.
Everyone, you can
am I
just
gonna
ignore the last 53 minutes of this podcast. They did not happen because my brother was overly emotional and passionate. That's it, Dave. Take some more of that apple juice. Next story.
All right.
This story
And the
was
final
built
story.
for a therapist's opinion, and I will speak with calmness and professionalism when I am giving my thoughts. Little brother, please proceed.
It may be experience. Try not to have too many traumatic thoughts about the subject matter. Would I be the a-hole if I don't tell my son his dad has another kid? Hey, everyone. So my son, almost 11, a male, has not seen or spoken to his biological dad in about 6 years. His dad, a 42-year-old male, cut contact after being a very active father since birth, claiming he felt no connection and didn't see any point on continuing the relationship. I, a 34-year-old female, was obviously devastated for my son. He loved his dad deeply and still doesn't know the real reason he left. Just that he moved 8 hours away and would be too busy with work. For 6 years, I've been telling my son this. I will tell him the truth eventually. I just don't think he's old enough yet, nor did his last therapist. Well, I've recently found out that my son's biological father has had another kid. Do I tell my son that he has another sibling out there? I had a daughter almost 2 years ago who my son adores. Or do I leave it until he is old enough to understand everything? I know 11 is better than 6 in the way of understanding, but my son has ADHD, ODD, and is on the autism spectrum. So I wonder if this info will overload him and cause multiple meltdowns. I've had someone suggest I just tell him, and someone else suggest I write a letter now and give it to him when he's old enough. I worry he will find out as an adult and hate me for not telling the truth. I just want to protect his heart from breaking. He has an amazing stepdad who loves him, a great support network, and is very much loved by me. He did have a great relationship with his paternal grandparents, but I have noticed that they have put in no effort into the relationship in the last 2 years. Any contact they have had with him has been because I initiated it. My son had surgery in February, and they have seen him once since then. That's why, and by the way, this was posted in May, so they saw him once in the past, 3 months at this point.
Yeah.
That's while he was in the hospital. They haven't even messaged to ask about him since then. We live in the same town. Ooh. I know I've rambled a fair bit, and I hope this is easy to follow. Sorry, I'm just need someone to help on how to navigate this chapter to help spare my son heartache. Thank you. Therapist Dave, take it away.
Yeah. So, Therapist Dave, here's how you handle it. And not just, this is how anybody out there listening, if you are a single parent that is, has a kid that does not see their other parent, you never, ever, ever say anything negative about that other parent. So I realize it might be tempting for this particular writer to say something like, your dad moved away. He's got a new like I think the advice that this writer is getting to not say anything is the right advice. I would suspect that the therapist wasn't saying that they agreed this child wasn't old enough. I think the therapist probably said something to the point of, your child doesn't need to know that dad has like abandoned him, basically. Is basically what like this mother's asking, should I tell my kid that his dad has abandoned him? No. What you say, you don't bring up dad at all. When your kid brings up dad, you say, yeah, buddy, it makes me sad that you don't get to see your dad either. That's what you say. You say, I wish you could see him more too. You keep it at that. You never say anything negative about the dad, because all that kid's going to hear, you might think that you're explaining to your child that the other parent, dad or mom, because both are capable of abandoning, right? You might think you're explaining to your child in very clear terms that it's their dad that's the problem or their mom that's the problem, that and all the kid is going to hear is, I'm not good enough for my mom or dad to love me and they left because of me. It doesn't make logical sense, but kids don't operate on logic. You tell a kiddo that dad has or mom has moved away and developed a new family and they don't want to talk to you anymore, it doesn't matter how else you phrase it. All the kid is going to hear and internalize is, my parent doesn't think I'm good enough to love. They may not think of it exactly in those terms, but that's the message that they're going to carry forth. So I would say, if you want to write a letter explaining and give it to the kiddo when they're older, I don't think that's a bad idea. But as far as how to handle and navigate it, I would just not bring up dad. I would focus on the family life you have now. If your son brings up dad and how much they miss him, you just validate. Yeah, kiddo, I know you miss your dad. I can see how much you miss him. I hope you're able to talk to him someday. I don't know what's going on with dad. It bothers me too that you don't get to see dad. I really wish you could see your dad. Like, you keep it that simple. That is the most healthy way to handle it. When they're an adult, then you can start having those deeper conversations about how dad left, all that stuff. That's my take on it.
But what happens when the son blames the mom?
But the thing is that if the mom is just very much like, hey, I really wish you could have, I wish you could see your dad. I don't know why. Mom doesn't have to explain away dad's actions.
Okay.
Mom can be very honest and be like, yeah, your dad moved away. I wish you could see him more too. Mom doesn't have to provide an explanation.
Okay.
And I really think a kid, you keep it that way. If you just keep it as a, yes. And again, it comes back to validating, acknowledging as a parent, yes, I can see, my child, that you miss your other parent. It hurts me that you miss your other parent the way it hurts you. I wish you could see them. Even if I think they are scum of the earth, I'm not going to tell that to you. I wish you could have a relation. That's what our mom did. She never said anything like, your dad is, a terrible person. Your dad has a whole bunch of demons. Your dad is really, she never said anything like that. She basically kept it at, yes, I wish you could see your dad more too. That's how she kept it. I don't blame mom for any of that. You let kids, first of all, they're not miniature adults. So they don't think of things the way that we do with time and experience. We have certain thoughts. We assume that we've always looked at the world this way, but we haven't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a kid's not going to blame their parents. They're not going to blame a parent if a parent takes a stance of, hey, I love you. I wish you could see this other parent that you love too. I can see that it bothers you that you can't. It bothers me too that you can't see them. I hope one day that you can. That's the stance that you take. You're not going to get blame in that case. What you are going to get blamed for is, believe it or not, even though it sounds counterintuitive, if you make it a point to point out how terrible that other parent is, that's where the blame's going to come from, the kid, in the future. Because basically, even though you might be directing as a parent, like, this co-parent that that I'm talking about is a genuinely terrible person, the kid's not going to hear that no matter how you frame it. The kid's just going to hear, kids are very egocentric, right? They think the world revolves around them, even though we all know it doesn't, but kids don't see it that way. It's like the old cliche, you know, like parents get divorced, the kid thinks it has something to do with them. It's their fault. Kids really believe that. They think that they are the center of it and they are the reason that parents divorce. So if one parent is blaming the other, it just reinforces in a kid's illogical emotional mind that they are somehow the problem and the reason for everything happening. That's where that later resentment builds and comes from and starts getting directed at another parent or at the original parent. So so no, you will not be the asshole writer if you don't tell your kid about dad's other kid. Not your responsibility. All you need to worry about is providing your kid a loving home and validating your kid's feelings when you see them. You just get right to the feelings. Yep, I get it. It bothers me that you can't see your dad either because it makes me sad to see you sad. You're my son. I love you. I want you to be happy. You deserve to have a dad that you have contact with. You deserve to have grandparents that care about you. Keep it at that level. Whatever resentment you have towards your ex, keep that out of your interactions with your kid. It will not steer you wrong. When you're an adult, your kid will or when the kid's an adult, they'll thank you for it.
So
I guarantee it.
What happens if the kid asks, like, well, why did dad leave? Say he's how old, 11 now? So say in a year he's 12 years old, maybe 13, and he says, "Hey, mom, like, why don't I see dad anymore? How come he left?"
I am a big believer in you don't outright lie to your children, but you keep it age appropriate.
Okay.
You can say something like, yeah, what mom and dad had, sometimes between moms and dads, it just doesn't work out. And sometimes that mom or dad feels the need to go somewhere else. And that's just how mom and dads are. And you could keep it really, I mean, this kid's 11, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that the kid at 11 is asking like, why did dad leave? I honestly think the best answer is, I'm not really sure. Again, you go back to, you don't have to answer the question. You go back to identifying like, what is your kid actually saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to solve your kid's problem. You just have to identify and like empathize with what is that they're expressing to you. So when a kid says, why did dad leave? It's not a big stretch to say as a response, you really miss your dad, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen your dad in a long time. Now that you asked me that question, I realize you haven't seen your dad in quite a few years. Yeah, I can understand why that really, like, it kind of bothers me you haven't seen your dad. I wish you could see him because I think it would make you happy.
So you just you revert back to that.
Just keep it as, I can see that this bothers you. I'm your parent and I love you. And yeah, I don't have the solution, but I can see that it bothers you and I recognize that. That's all you got to do. You don't have to explain dad's behavior. You don't have to defend yourself, right? For not preventing dad from leaving. Like, dad is his own person. Dad made that decision. You know what? As your mom, I'm not exactly sure myself why he left. That's a valid answer. You know what I mean? Like to say like, hey kiddo, you know what? I really don't know either. I wonder about that myself sometimes.
Yeah.
It can lead you to have like an actual honest conversation with your kid that's still age appropriate.
So so this boy will have a sibling out there somewhere. She shouldn't address it right now.
So
this is a no-win situation. This is a no-win situation for this mother. David, I don't know how. So, a little background. David and I have a half brother somewhere out there in the world because our father cheated on our mother when she was pregnant with me, and so we have a brother that's roughly the same age as me that we've never met. I can tell you from what mom told me is there was a period where she tried to convince our father to get custody of him so she could help raise him. That obviously
That
never,
sounds like Mama.
yeah, that obviously never happened.
That sounds like Mom. I do not recommend that to anybody that's in that situation.
Now I don't know, David, when she told you. I don't know if you knew in the moment. You were too young. I don't know
I
at
was
what point.
8 or 9. I was 8 or 9, so it must have been right around a couple years after you were born, because I was 8 or 9 years old.
When she told you?
About Eric, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's his
She
name?
never even told me. She never told me until our father died. I never even knew until our father died.
Are you serious?
No, I never knew until he died. That's when she told me.
Family secrets come out on Sibrid. Damn. She literally told me, her and our dad told me when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So you must have been what, 2 or 3? They told me I had a half brother, Eric.
And what did you say? Do you
Can
remember?
I meet him?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
But that's different though, because
So
you had
even
no
as-
parents telling you at the
Even
moment.
even as a young man in my 20s, I said, "Do you think he would ever want to meet us?" And she said, "I don't think so."
Probably not.
And then she said, "I wouldn't know how to get it. I wouldn't know how to get in touch anyway."
She told me there's some question of whether he's actually even our dad's.
Oh.
She didn't tell me that until I was an adult. She told me that, I want to say, like, it was recent. It was.
Well, I did a very long 3-hour interview with Mom for a podcast that I never got completed for. I was working on for NPR, but she was quite convinced that he was actually hers. So he was his when I had my interview with her. But
I'm sure we can find him on social media. Sibriv
I have no desire
Investigations.
to. You know what? Because here's the thing. Like, if he doesn't want to be found, not that I'm against ever like meeting the guy or talking to him, but if he doesn't want to be found, that's his right. I respect that. You know what I mean?
I was
Like,
gonna say, does he know about you guys? Is the question. Does anyone know?
this digs right into the heart of this post, actually, because what has his mother told him? You know, since he was born.
Oh, like the
So this is the advice. This is the complete opposite. What did
Right.
this child's mother tell him when he was born about his father and how he grew up? So, yeah, it's like, so the mother in this post, I feel like she's in like a no-win situation.
our dad really got around, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Like, he really got around.
From what I have read in some journals and papers and stuff that she
Oh.
wrote, yes.
So I'm speaking not just as a therapist, but as a kid that had like firsthand knowledge. I met, I think, at least 3 or 4 of the women that our dad was having an affair with when I was a kid. I'm amazed. Honestly, I'm not trying to humble brag. I'm just legitimately amazed that I am as well adjusted emotionally right now as an adult as I am. Because when I was like, before Dana was born, our dad was taking me to bars. Like, he would take me to a bar where he would drink. What was the place? In Rockland, right
Piccadilly
next to
Pub?
Dunkin' Donuts. Hotel Thomas. It
Oh,
wasn't called
Hotel
that back then.
Thomas, best pizza.
There was a bar there before it became a pizza place back in the 70s and 80s. He would take me when I was like 5 years old.
Complete dive
when he
bar.
would get drunk for the night. It was a total dive bar. He'd set me up with like 5 or 6 quarters in front of the Miss Pac-Man machine and a Coke with a cherry in it. I remember this clearly. It was like one of those, like, you sit down and it, like, the arcade is like a table. So you're like playing on the table, and he would just go up to the bar and he'd be there for like hours. Literally hours. He would take me to Nantasket back when it was a beach, and Paragon Park was like and I met, I don't know how many, at least 3 women that were like his friends.
God.
Oh yeah. Yes, this is in fact the guy who told me never trust a woman at that time when I was a kid.
Oh.
And then there
How
was one
ironic.
time where he took me to China House and he left me in the parking lot in the car, and he said it would just be a quick minute, and he was in there for like 5 hours.
What is say that again? China what?
Or China Plaza.
China Plaza?
Oh, China
House.
Plaza.
China Plaza. Yeah.
China House.
Anyway, yeah. I forgot that this is being recorded and like going to be sent out to everybody. But anyway, yeah, I mean, so our dad was not. He had his demons. That's how I put it in a grad school paper because we had to write about our own families.
That's
And
how
I
mom.
just wrote.
That's how mom said it too. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
tough.
who knows what this kid's
I
mom's.
mean, kind of like repeating because the cycle basically. Because I don't know if I'm breaking news here, but our father, experienced his mother cheating on his father.
Yes.
So
Yeah. I mean, that's not.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
okay. So,
So
he
so
literally
he-
walked. He
our-
literally
He
He
could have
literally
been
walked
Dave
in.
growing up.
he literally
Oh.
walked in on her and
On
caught
hi-
a
on
severe
my
beating.
mother.
Oh.
Yes.
Um,
So basically,
this
our grandmother.
explains so much.
When he was 15, he walked in on his mom cheating on another man and in bed with another man. When he confronted her on it, she beat him with a glass ketchup bottle, and he was bedridden for 3 days, I think is what it was. She beat him so bad.
Oh
Now,
my
here's the thing.
God.
Again, as a therapist who has actually done therapy with domestic abusers, far, far, far too many men specifically use abuse they've received at the hands of their mother to actually justify their treatment of their wives or girlfriends. Doesn't fly with me. That is total effing BS. And I have used that, like, called out clients directly. Like, you cannot use that as an excuse. Regardless of what happened, that's wrong. It doesn't excuse what he then did as an adult. Period. End of story. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. I was actually talking about the cheating aspect of it, not so much that she beat him.
Yeah, sorry. Yes. But that's what did you must have known. Mom must have told you that. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming mom told you that, but she didn't tell you about Eric until you were like an adult. She told me right when I was a kid.
Yep.
Well,
I don't think
Well,
I have any
she-
siblings out there that I don't know about.
That you know about.
Yeah,
that you know about.
that I know about. I've done the DNA thing though, the 23andMe, which
Yeah.
now they're like bankrupt or whatever, but
I did Ancestry, and Auntie told me that she has avoided stuff like that, kind of the same because of the same fears. She was talking about our grandfather, and she's like, I'm afraid of what we would find. I'm not trying to like air family dirty laundry here, but
Welcome to Sip
sorry,
Radio.
Auntie. Yeah, sorry, Auntie. You told me that maybe in confidence. I don't know. You didn't specifically say it was in confidence, so it's fair
Secrets are no fun. Secrets hurt someone.
hurt someone. From The Office. From the stripper nurse. Okay,
Secrets
so
are never fun
What did Reddit think?
Yeah, what did Reddit?
when
what
you're
was-
the only one that doesn't know one. Yes.
Oh.
Dave's not going to be happy with some of these comments. I can tell you that. All right. Waiting to tell your kid the truth will not make it better for him. It's not just that his dad has another kid. It's that his dad opted out of being a parent to him. He has two loving parents and a sister now, and you need to find a way to tell him that his dad felt unable to be
No.
a good parent and thought it was best to step away because of his own shortcomings. You can tell him that since his father has another child, it's hard to reconcile with someone who decided not to be a parent.
No,
to
you
some
can't. The
authority.
kid's 11. He's 11. He's not going to understand this. He's not some 22 or 23-year-old that you can have this conversation with, people. Your kid is fucking 11. You can't tell him that. He's still going to hear that he was the problem. He was not good enough for his dad to love. That's what's going to happen if you take this advice. Sorry. Continue, please. Continue
Reddit
with
poster.
this complete bullshit advice.
Reddit poster.
Go
I
ahead.
really hope you're watching this episode and taking some solid advice from a therapist on apple juice right now, because we do know this is a recent post. So
Wait, what was that last one? Go back.
we just did it.
No, your son must already
Have questions, and maybe he's too afraid to ask them. Maybe he doesn't want. Maybe he doesn't care, but he best to know some version of the truth, so reality doesn't crush him when it all comes out.
Can I just say one more thing as a therapist, as somebody who has worked primarily with children since I left grad school 9 years ago. Okay. I have worked primarily with kids. So yes, I realize I've been drinking a lot of apple juice right now. I realize that I may not seem like somebody who's a font of wisdom. But let me tell you something about children, parents. If your kid actually has a question, they will ask you about it. Period. There is none of this adult, navel gazing, cringy, angsty bullshit of I'm afraid to ask a question. That's not it. If your kid has a question, they will ask you. Kids are pretty cut and dry for the most part. Yes, there's some things that kids will keep from you, but if they have a question like that, especially if they're younger, you can be pretty confident that if they're asking you, they're just asking you. You don't need to read into it. You don't need to that's all I'm saying. So this idea that this 11-year-old kid is like afraid to ask the question, like I said, you as a parent modeling and saying, yes, I understand. And it hurts me too, buddy, that you don't get to see your dad. That creates that safe space for them, if they do have fear about asking the question, to have that conversation. But this idea, you need to tell your child how their dad opted out of being a parent. No, you don't, because you know what they're going to hear? My dad opted out of being a parent to me because there's something wrong with me. The problem is me. That's how the kid's going to take it. Don't do that. Keep it to, I don't know why your dad left. It bothers me that you don't get to see him either. I wish you could see him more often. Leave it. Leave it at that. Repeat that. I don't care if you sound like a broken record. I don't care if you feel stupid. If you don't want to fuck up your kid for the rest of his life, keep to that script. You're welcome. I usually charge $200 an hour for this type of advice. Or I would if I was in private practice, but I'm not. Sorry.
And this is
That
just general
apple juice is strong.
advice. We don't know where this poster's from, right? It could be your
No.
state.
If you haven't told your Sean the truth about his father, then that he essentially abandoned him, why would you even bother telling him about a half sibling? Leave it for when he's far older and has a better grasp of life and its complexities. An 11-year-old cannot handle that right now. Let him enjoy his childhood with your loving family around him.
I can get behind
So
that.
Dave
as a
wrote that
therapist.
post.
Yes. Oh, God.
Unfortunately, whatever you do will break his heart. His diagnosis might cause him to have severe reactions, and it might or might not. The
I
older
didn't
he
even get
gets,
to that part. Sorry. Go ahead.
the harder it will be for you to handle his outbursts. If he's asking about his father at 11 years old, he understands more than you think. Whatever you tell him will be better than all the hopes and fears through his mind. Support him. Let him know you love him no matter what. My godson has been with us since he was 3 years old. His diagnosis is similar. His parents rarely, if ever, contacted him in the last 20 years. As he's aged, we did start telling him details about their lives and why they left him. He's 25 years old now and adjusted to his situation. He has no contact by his choice. Although he will always love them, they have no place in his life. The Reddit verdict overall was you would be the a-hole for not telling, but there was a strong contingent of don't tell. So in
Yeah,
other words, this
so-
person can't win.
So, first of all, Reddit, you're a bunch of dumbasses. No, this writer is not the a-hole for not telling. This idea that if he's asking about his dad at 11 years old, he understands more than the writer thinks. No, he's just naturally curious. Kids are going to ask about their parents.
I actually don't think it even says anything about him asking about his dad. She's just wondering if she should proactively
Yeah, she's saying
bring
she's
up
wondering
the
if-
sibling.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
think
wondering
he's
if
even.
he has. She goes,
I
I don't
don't
know.
think he's
She said, I don't know if
asking.
I don't know if he's asked because he's afraid. It was basically what she said. I think.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, wait for him to ask, and then you go with what I told, what I say. Yeah,
Go
now that
with
you
what
men-
I say.
Well, listen. Do you want to mess your kid up or not? And on the I didn't even get to
Is the goal here to
diagnosis.
mess the kid up? The way you just
You would
phrase
think.
that is like
It was the emphasis. He
Yeah,
put the
yeah.
wrong
He's-
emphasis on the wrong
the way you
syllable.
phrase that, like you're trying to mess the kid up.
That
Do you want
seems
to
to
mess
be
your kid
Reddit's
up or
aim.
not?
Come on, mess him up.
That seems to be how most of Reddit wants to parent. Oh, let's talk about all this stuff so that this, again, parents, I don't care how precocious your 11-year-old is. They don't understand because they don't have the experience that we have as adults. They are not mini adults. And people are giving this writer advice to talk to her son. The ones that are pro tell him they are coming from a position of that this kid is like a mini adult in a
Yeah.
child's body.
Well,
They
As
don't
an
have
adult,
that-
I would want
my
to know.
11-year-old is like really smart. Okay, he's like really
Oh,
smart.
man.
David, every
my.
kid is different.
My
okay?
3-year-old was saying, you know what, mommy? If white people would just admit that they've been oppressors for years and centuries, then this wouldn't be such a problem right now. Like I see that shit on Facebook and it's like, whatever. Anyway, I'm getting beyond. I'm just saying, I wanted to make a point. This poor kid, he's got a diagnosis of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, and autism spectrum disorder. As a therapist, I am speaking as a therapist who has worked with children. I think my field needs to do a better job and stop throwing constant diagnoses on children. I understand that parents and sometimes even the kids themselves, they feel better knowing, like, okay, and I recognize this, there's validity to it. I can put a label to what's happening with me and my experiences. I recognize the validity of that. I also think there's a lot of stigma when you throw all these diagnoses on a kid, because now this kid in particular, he's got ADHD, ODD, and autism spectrum. Any teacher that this kid has, because he's probably got an IEP, is going to automatically, if they've never had any experience with him before, they're going to have these like preconceived notions of what this child's going to be like. And I don't think that's fair to a kid at all. Especially with ADD, ADHD, and ODD, there's a lot of cross symptoms. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this because it sounds so cringy, but fellow therapists, you need to do better when you're diagnosing. You need to do better. You need to figure out which is which, and you need to just come up with one, not both. I really strongly feel this way. I think we are stigmatizing kids way too much. And I mean, there was a study released not too long ago that like 68% of kids from 1995 to 2007 or 2008 were misdiagnosed with ADHD. All those kids were put on medication. All those kids were misdiagnosed. All those kids did not get or got help that they didn't need help. And were basically given this message that there's something wrong with you because you're basically, a kid that may be too energetic or whatever. I don't know, but it bothers me that people do this and that therapists do this. And instead of having conversations with parents and are open of like, there could be a couple different things going on, we should give it time and like real attention and see what's actually happened so that we can best help your kid thrive. We're just throwing diagnoses on kids like one after another. Anytime I see ADHD and ODD together, I want to pull my hair out and scream because it's like, sorry, I'm on my soapbox. I apologize. I feel very strongly about this. I've worked, obviously, as you know, I've never had any biological kids of my own. I've made a big persona of I don't want anything to do with kids. I actually feel very deeply for kids. I want, they are our future. So that's why I chose to work with them and I want them to like succeed. And I don't think that we are doing, and I'm speaking as a therapist, when we throw diagnoses on kids, I don't think we're doing them any services. I think we're doing them and their parents a disservice and leading them astray when we throw multiple diagnoses on a kid. Not that somebody can't have multiple diagnoses. Of course they can. But it happens way too often for my comfort level. Let me just say that. Sorry, I'm off my soapbox. I will stop talking. I didn't mean to take up too much space as, the big brother who's like, well, whatever. You guys can finish up this podcast. I'm done talking. I'm sure everybody's like, oh my God, Dave, shut the hell up. We're tired of listening to you go on. We want to hear from Dana and Shelley. They're far more interesting. And somebody just messaged me.
He's still
I know. I'm just letting him go. I'm just letting him go. I mean, I think this is wildly entertaining.
One of these days, I'm going to bring us viral.
We need to know about the message.
Yeah, so who's the text message from?
It's from my good friends, Tim and April.
Yes.
Oh, you guys know I'm coming home in August to see Extreme. I bought tickets for me, Tim, and April to go Extreme.
Yes, I have
see
met
Extreme.
Tim and April. They have been.
You have. They
to
came
my
to your home.
Yeah.
They've been to your home. Yeah, Tim just sent me a YouTube link to maybe I'm assuming. Oh, not their new song. He sent me a link called "Wind Me Up." I wonder if he's listened. Maybe he knows, and I'm like, probably it's a Friday. I've probably been hitting the apple juice pretty hard. Tim and April have heard me go on rants before. I mean, not that I do this often, but Friday night used to be wine and pizza night at Tim and April's house. Remember I lived there for a couple months?
Yeah.
So they're probably thinking unless Dana's live streaming and Tim's listening and he knows it.
Not live streaming at all. I actually pondered. I kind of wish I had now.
Me too.
I pondered live streaming just to Facebook tonight.
Oh, that would have been fun.
I pondered it, and then I didn't end up doing it. I wish I had now. This would have been a wildly entertaining stream for people to watch and come stumble on.
Would it have been?
Yes,
would it have been?
The next
funny.
time we do a Friday night one, we can do it. Like Facebook Fridays or something.
I'm just wondering if when Dave comes home in August, if you guys are going to run to the movies without your brother or something, leave me behind again.
Probably.
No, we are
Probably.
all
I'm already planning. No, I'm already planning. I've already got it figured out. I'm looking at what movies that my brother would want to see, and I'm just going to invite my little sister.
Mike?
And specifically not invite
Mike, hey Mike, do you know why my sister and my brother are abandoning me?
No,
He does because we told him. So he actually knows the answer to that question.
Because he's an adult. He can handle it. He's not 11 years old.
I really have to. I'm going to go use the restroom. I'm just. You guys can continue talking. I'll have my headphones in. We should be live right now. I'm going to stop my camera. And we're gonna mute. I'm gonna mute so that you don't hear the stream. The things I
Welcome
do
to
for
Joe
this
Rogan Podcast. This is a very Joe
So-
Rogan Podcast type conversation.
Oh,
Let's go pee.
oh my god.
Well, can you blame it though? Like Joe Rogan goes for like 3 or 4 hours, so how could you not have to pee at some point during that time?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of,
I think
I'm
we do
gonna-
all have our mother's bladder, so.
I shall adjourn for the moment and let you two commentate on.
Do you hear how long it's taking him just to go
I know.
get off the microphone and go to the bathroom?
Pee.
Well, I'm from New England, so I need to spend like hours belaboring the point that I'm about to say goodbye for a little bit.
Oh my god. This is the chattiest he has ever been.
He's hitting that apple juice hard.
Oh my god. This is wild.
I'm just thinking about the kids watching this and be like, I've never seen Uncle Dave like that.
I know. I know. He seemed surprised when I was like, they watch. He's like, they do? I'm like, yes, they listen. They listen and watch. Hunter has given me feedback. You know, he'll tell us the ones that he likes a lot, you know?
Oh, I'm sure this one's going to be up there.
Oh, I'm sure. This is very much we're sitting at the kitchen table. I tend to stay away from my mic. This is very much like us sitting around the kitchen table shooting the breeze
Yeah, family
type.
discussion.
Yes, which is my favorite.
Getting
These
silly.
are my favorite. Oh wait, he kept his headphones on, right, so he can hear us.
Oh, I mean, does his Bluetooth have the range from his bathroom? Can he really hear us?
Oh, we will see.
We will
Tune
find out.
in. This is a long pee. Does he have to go upstairs, I wonder? It's taking forever. Maybe it just seems like it's
Oh,
forever
no.
because
You
it's
know,
in the
it's-
middle of a podcast.
No, he's actually still talking. He forgot he muted his microphone.
Oh my god. Oh, this is so funny.
Hi, Dave.
You two seem very amused.
So you
Did
didn't
you
have
not
your...
have your headphones in?
I didn't. So let me guess, because you both laughed. Let me see how well I know my siblings. I'm 82% certain you made some sort of comment because I think it took me like a minute to pee. It felt like a long pee, so you probably mentioned how long it took me to pee.
Bing, 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 bing,
That was
bing.
me. I did. I was like, oh my god, he's taking forever. Yeah, it was me.
And the only other thing I got is you probably did not talk about the Reddit thing at all. Did you talk about me the whole time while I was gone? Or did you talk
Pretty
about
much.
anything else?
We said, I said that you probably forgot that you muted your microphone, and you were still just talking the whole time, thinking you were talking to us.
And we said that the boys are gonna see, like, oh, like I've never seen Uncle David like that before.
I was thinking about this earlier. Like, my one regret about living so far away is that my nephews have no idea how cool their uncle would actually be if I lived there.
That is true.
They would have, well, I'm just not going to say anything. But they would have had a lot of really cool experiences so far. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I'm
Are you
intrigued to know what that means.
Are you implying you would throw like better parties and better fun days for my own children?
You would get them a bounce house?
You would get them stuff that I can't possibly have gotten them because I'm just not a good parent?
No, my brother is a great parent, and it would illustrate how I'm not probably cut out for parenthood because they would have had their first experiences with apple juice already, probably with their uncle.
Thankfully, my kids have no desire for that.
I was
so.
gonna say, you really don't even know your nephews because you live so far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did tell them the last time we saw them though. I was like, say no to drugs. If you're drunk, call us. Hunter was. Don't you remember that? It was when Dana. It was when Mike was doing the Plex thing, and I was like, if you're at a party and you get drunk, you call me. I don't care when it is. And they're like, Auntie, I don't like. Why would I be at a party? Why would I be drinking? I'm like, because peer pressure. Peer pressure. I'm like, so if it happens, you call me. I will come and get you. I don't care when it is. Mason, like, how old? Like, is Mason even thinking about that yet? What is he? 14, 13? Oh, okay.
It's 14. And it's 15. Hunter's 17 next month.
Hunter would be the one I would. He's the oldest, so I feel like it's in that high school era of like going to parties, drinking in the woods. Do kids still drink in the woods?
I don't think Hunter has any desire to do that. Hunter just wants to play basketball all day.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
Well, what a great family chat.
Are you going to put this one up early, or do we have to wait until Monday?
I'll put it up.
Dave's like, I want to watch myself.
I want to know.
I really want to hear myself talk, and I want to see how smart I am when I'm drinking my apple juice.
Okay. So, not for nothing, but I'm pretty sure I carried this particular episode. I'm just saying.
Because we let you. We thought it was
I loved it.
High value entertainment. Yes, you absolutely did carry this episode.
Yes.
I was muted. I think I was muted for like 75% of it.
I do a lot of I'm like a good interviewer. I'm like, so tell me what you would do if the son asked about this, and so what about this, and what about the other brother, and like
Well, how would you guys? Well, what would you guys say to your kid if you had a parent that had left? Your kid's 11, the other parent has bolted, has a new family, doesn't care about their other child anymore, what would you say to them?
Like
I would say that your mother was so afraid to have my best friend's fiance at the wedding because she's a troll. No,
was good. That was really good. I was just gonna say, for a serious answer, that it would depend if he is asking me, but I probably wouldn't bring it up. And if he had a question, I would just answer it and then move on. I wouldn't make like a big deal about it one way or the other. I would answer his question and move on, and then the next time he had a question, I'd answer it, move on. I would just keep that like line of communication open, I guess. But I never really thought I didn't think about it the way you thought about it. So, you know. So when one of my nephews comes to me and says, "Hey, I think I have a sibling." No, I'm just kidding. I don't have kids. It would have to be a niece or nephew.
It would be a cousin, not a niece or nephew, right?
what?
No, if my niece or nephew came to me and said, "Hey, I have a sibling,"
Right.
right?
But it wouldn't be a sibling because I don't think Dana would be sowing his wild oats.
Oh
on
no, I
Katie.
know, I know. But that, I'm
if,
just
if Hunter,
So
came
they
to-
wouldn't be
I-
saying, "I think
Hunter
I have a
came to
sibling." They'd be
Shell-
saying, "I think I have a cousin.
Well-
I think Uncle Dave had a little too much apple juice at some point."
I was going to say that they would come, like, Hunter goes to Michelle. I think I have a sibling, and Michelle would say, "Yes, Hunter, you do. Their names are Mason and Landon."
yeah.
Very good.
Very good. Very good.
Honestly, if obviously I'm not a mother, so I wouldn't have this problem. But if I had a friend with this situation, yeah, I probably would just advise them not to talk about it until they're older. And if they ask about it when they're older, that's when they're ready to hear about it. But let them be a kid. Let them have their childhood.
Yeah, I do believe that.
And
Letting kids be kids.
like Dave said, don't talk about the other parent. Someday they're gonna have
Yeah.
questions. I feel like this stuff has been coming up a lot lately, and like I don't know if it's just because this is stuff I've been thinking about a lot as I've gotten older because of our own like upbringing and situation, or if it's just like the universe telling me to pay attention to it. But like one of the other podcasts I listened to, like one of my favorite comedians, Sam Morrell, almost an identical situation where his biological father had like a whole other family, and his mother got remarried. His stepfather is basically his dad, but he met his father when he was like later in his like 20s or whatever, and asked if he could meet his brother, and the father was like, "Yeah, I don't think they want to meet you." But his father just died recently, and he was talking about like he was basically a piece of crap. But he's now in his 30s or whatever, so he understands that. But when he was a kid, maybe not so much. But
even if you understand, I mean, you guys as an adult, even if you understand it, do you still forgive it? Do you think about it? Do you?
This is an interesting thing that I spent a lot of time in therapy over this, So it was like through therapy, I learned for our father to forgive, and have some understanding and empathy towards like his life and the life he lived and the control that like alcohol had over him, and understanding that a lot of who he is who I am too, and things that I have to work through myself and make sure that I don't turn out the same way he did. Because I think for a very long time, I had a lot of anger and harbored a lot of anger to him. And it's really hard not to have anger when the last time you spoke directly to your father, they didn't even know who you were. That's was always a lasting thing in my head, that like my own father didn't even know who I was as a teenager, So
Yeah.
I had a lot of anger towards him, much like I had a lot of anger towards Fred. I worked through my anger for my father through therapy, With Fred, it's taken a lot longer for me to forgive a lot of the things. Although over time, I've come to just live with it and deal with it, and he was who he was, and it wasn't all terrible. And I try to now just to think about. I try not to think about all the terrible things that happened in our childhood, and try more to focus on some of the better things that happened, because all these people are gone now. Mom is gone. Fred's gone.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
father's gone. So I don't have any fun times to think about with my father, because we didn't really have any. You know, all my memories of my father are either him being completely shitted, or maybe some memories I have when me and David used to go to his house with his new wife and stepkids, and but even those weren't like the happiest of times, because it felt like we were vying for his attention and competing over kids that weren't even really his kids. So it was a very it was a very weird situation. With Fred, same thing. Like, there's not a lot of, there are some happy memories. So a lot more happy memories I have with Fred than I have with my own father, which is kind of like how I've landed on, like, just kind of like forgetting and getting past, forgetting, starting to forgive and get past it and just deal with it, because I don't want to become like a miserable person over thinking about all these bad things that happened to me as a kid. I don't want it to affect the rest of my life. I want to be a good person and show my kids that it doesn't matter what happened to you. It shouldn't affect how you treat other people and how the type of person you are. You need to work to become a better person, regardless of that past.
So I have a question. I might have a family secret, another family secret to unload on Sibriv.
Okay.
To both of your knowledge, when did our mom start re-talking to Dana and I's dad?
So I remember it like it was yesterday. Mom was going to school. She was back in school.
I was just out of high school.
And so, yeah, I don't know.
So Dana, you
I was a
graduated in
senior.
2000?
I was a senior in high school because he wrote to her
So it was
asking if he
01.
could come to my races.
Okay,
So
but I think mine might have been before that, because he called the house once. I've talked to your dad on the phone.
he didn't call the house just once. He was in contact with mom far before. So I was 16. Dana, this might make you feel better. I've always thought this when you've talked about that story of when he's like, hey, do you know where Dana Scott lives? And it was you that he was asking. He called the house when I was 16 and he asked for Lorraine. And
Did you know it was him?
I didn't. I didn't know it was him. He said, is this David? And I said, yes. And he said, this is Chris, your dad. So I also did not know his voice or him when he called the house. I was 16 years old. We were at Church Street. I remember that much. And I was the only one home, and he had called for mom. So I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but it wasn't necessarily that he just didn't know you, is that none of us knew each other. Like, I had no clue
No,
that it was him
he
when
called
he
it.
called.
I picked up before when he called the house, and I hung up on him. I knew exactly who he was.
It's
And I
funny.
knew when he
didn't.
showed up at the house, I knew exactly who he was. That's why I was so pissed when he didn't know. How can you not know who your own son is? For Christ's sake, me and you look so much like him. It's ridiculous.
I remember
Like-
Auntie Dolores saying that. Like when
Like-
when we had gone to Auntie Eileen's like Christmas party one year, I think it was 94, 95, because I had graduated high school by that point. But Auntie Dolores had come up, and I remember her saying to mom, they look so much like Chris.
We have all his mannerisms. I mean,
Well, we got some of mom's too.
we did get some moms. But
Yeah.
I just remember when he called, he said, is Lorraine there? And I said, no. And he said, okay, can you have her call me? And I got a number. And then he said, I was like, can I get your name or whatever? And he was like, it's Chris. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I called mom this is when dad had a cell phone in the car, like the plug-in,
the car phone.
the car phone. So I called and I was like, Mom, I'm like, Christopher called. She was like, why are you whispering? And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like no one should know that he's calling except you.
Because it
I
used to
think I
start. Well,
was
it
in
did used to
middle
start fights.
school.
It did used to start fights. So
It
your
did,
your
yeah.
instinct was right.
I knew. I think I probably knew on some
instinct was-
level that my dad did not care for Chris, but I remember whispering like, Chris called.
Yeah, Dana and I walked in on Albion Street after they had met each other for the first time way back in the day, and
My
it
dad
was
and
not
Chris.
comfortable. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. And even though I was young, Dana was younger, and I remember both of us actually looking at each other like something is not right here. We didn't know what was going on. We just knew it wasn't good.
I didn't know that. I could see Dad having an issue with Chris, but I think it's ironic that he had such an issue when he had his own issues.
Well,
You know?
he got pissed. He got pissed because I had told Mom, your marriage to Fred is like your marriage to Dad, except without the alcohol. So if you want to know why your dad never liked me, that's one of the reasons.
Well,
I was going to add something, but it was probably extremely inappropriate.
it is what it is. I mean, yeah. It's
Are we gonna wrap this up? This is going on way too long.
Michelle,
yes.
why does our brother want to abandon us and leave us?
Because I don't love you.
You know what?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love you both very
You know
much.
what? I miss our brother too, Dana. I really do, and I'm sad that you miss your brother. I'm sad that I miss my brother. It's very sad.
My sister.
Well, I hear you saying that, but what I really hear is that he hates me and doesn't
No.
love me.
No, buddy.
No, Dana, that's not what you said.
I
Michelle, what is your response? What do we say when we hear that?
I'm so sad that you are missing your brother. I miss him too, kiddo.
This is what we're going to be saying. I think we're going to be saying this in about. I think we'll be saying this in about 3 weeks when we haven't spoken to each other in a while. Well, Michelle, you and I will speak to each other,
Yes, we will.
and I'm sure we'll wish David a happy birthday.
Yeah.
But
You
we
know,
won't
we're
have a
acting
sibling
like
meeting.
we're acting like we're not going to talk for the month of July. We're still in a group chat.
This is true.
We text like multiple times a week now, which we never did before, so I love it. It like keeps us in touch, but
And
we're
I
acting
even-
like we're not going to talk or see each other in the month of July.
I actually even text Dana even more than we all chat because I know like Michelle doesn't give a shit about
so
half
you
the
like
stuff.
Dana better? Okay.
No, no, it's
That's
not
fine.
that. It's just
No,
that
that's
I
fine.
understand, Michelle. Michelle, I understand.
I get the movies where
It
we
really
don't have
hurts
to
me.
talk. You get
It really
the text
hurts me.
messages.
It really hurts me to feel that you feel like David doesn't talk to you as much as he talks to me. I really feel that. And you're right. He does talk to me way more.
there was news about Heat 2, which I sent to my brother because I know my sister doesn't care about,
You mean the movie that I have seen, Heat?
that you didn't really like, that you thought was okay.
No, I didn't say that Heat was okay. I liked Heat.
All anybody talks about is like Al Pacino saying she's got a great ass in
Well,
in
that
the
is
shootout scene.
that is true. That's all anyone talks about. But I did
That's
like
all
that
anybody
movie.
cares about.
I did like that movie. I will
Did
watch
you?
Heat
'Cause it
too.
It didn't sound like it. It didn't sound.
Well,
like
you
it
know
like
what?
the
I'm
movie.
gonna
Also,
go see
Dana,
Heat 2 without you two. How do you like that?
We'll go see it without you because you don't want to see it.
I do want to see it. I didn't know they were making one, but I'll see it. I liked it.
That's the difference between you two and me. Is I would say, hey, we should make sure Michelle comes, or at least give her the option of coming if she wants to.
God.
Oh, so did
I
you
wouldn't leave either of you
invite
two.
me into that text message and be like, "Hey, Dave, we should probably also
We
bring
have a group
Michelle in
chat.
because
We have a
because-
group chat.
Okay, well, he didn't mention anything about Heat 2 in the group chat.
Well, because when I mention other stuff in the group chat, Michelle doesn't respond, but Dana does. So I know who actually cares and who doesn't. So that's who I direct my follow-up responses to.
Listen, I like and love messages that you guys send if I don't have a
you
exact
don't.
response. I'm
Stop
like, yeah,
fronting.
that's good. I
Stop
do too.
fronting.
I
You do
liked
not.
one of the ones you posted
You-
yesterday because I didn't have a response and I was like, well, I'm gonna like it. Make it feel good.
Oh, I'm gonna throw a pity like out there for it so that they keep including me.
Listen,
On each
I invited you to join me in a mocktail tonight.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I
You
did.
just said. You said I'm gonna have mocktails tonight during our
I
podcast.
said, and I
That is
quote,
not an invite.
I feel
That
like
is
I'm 12
a
years old all over
I
again.
said, and I quote, I will be partaking in a mocktail while we pod tomorrow night if you guys would like to join. Is that not an invitation?
No. Joining the pod, not joining in mock.
No.
So I decided
Yeah,
to have
because
some
we're going to have
apple
a
juice.
pod without the three of us? What a stupid thing to say.
Well, I mean, maybe we would. Maybe you guys would have a pod without the three of us.
We will now because you're
Maybe
pissing
you
me
might be
off.
like, Dave is too charming. He's too charming and witty. We need to get rid of him and have
let me
our own
remind you,
podcast.
you were the one that said, "Oh,
He gives too good
crap.
therapeutic advice.
I forgot we were doing tomorrow, 5:30, right? You didn't even remember. You say you love us. You didn't even remember we were potting.
I cannot confirm or deny whether that statement was made.
I can confirm.
All I can say is
I have it in a message.
I have it here on my Apple iPhone.
I logged on to our pod at 5:27 p.m., so I'm pretty sure I remembered.
Yeah, because I
Thank you very
reminded you yesterday when I invited
No.
you for a mocktail.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Oh, we're going to screenshot this, Dana, and we're going to post it on our Facebook.
We don't even have to because I can just pull it right up here. And
Yes.
share the screen.
Yes. Pull the tapes.
Oh, here we go. Here's how AI is trying to screw Dave Scott over, everybody.
No.
My AI bot siblings,
No.
my siblings
No.
that are actually AI bots are now trying to
No.
like find
Nope.
private messages that
No.
I supposedly sent
No.
to
Look,
my siblings.
right there. Do you see it? I will be partaking in a mocktail, cranberry juice and Fresca, haha, while we pod tomorrow night if you guys would like to join. Someone, I think you laughed at it and then said, oh shit, I forgot we were doing tomorrow. 5:30, 8:30 Eastern, right?
Clearly, I
And
remembered.
then I said yes, and then you thumbs upped it. Thumbs up.
Clearly, I remembered. I was just confirming.
And then I sent the stream.
Confirmation.
And then I
You
sent the
should have been a
StreamYard
lawyer.
link because my brother's a boomer and doesn't know how to properly use technology.
I am not okay. I am not a boomer. I'm Gen X.
I love that it happened one time. One time he couldn't figure out how to get the link off the dock, and
I'm never
every
letting
week,
it end. I'm never
every
letting it
week
end.
You send it for the boomer. For the boomer.
Gen X. And by the way, I didn't get the doc that week.
It's a Google Doc. You don't have to
I
get
all
it.
have
It's
access
just
to
a
it.
live
I'm not
doc.
a boomer.
Yeah,
I'm
everyone
not a
has
boomer.
access to it.
1965 to 1980, Generation X. That is, I am 1976, Generation X. My brother, who wishes he was Generation X, is actually a millennial. Look at me. I like my avocado toast in my feelings.
I
I'm
like
a
avocado
millennial.
toast.
Yeah, well, you're a millennial too.
I am a millennial.
You are a millennial.
Okay, you don't have to say it like that.
People's feelings.
I'm not a boomer. I'm Generation X. I'm not a boomer. I'm not a boomer. Generation X. I was born at 7.
Every time you say Generation X, I think
Hey.
of wrestling.
Oh!
Listen. Here's how Gen X I am. When I was 9 years old, I was riding my bike again outside Little Peach, where I met marvelous Marvin Hagler. And I decided I can beat that car that's coming down. I can cross the street on my Huffy before that car gets us. The handlebar of my Huffy connected with the rear, like the side mirror of the car, and I was dragged along on my Huffy with the car for like 50 yards.
Okay,
And
Dave.
the guys,
Dave is
I'm
trying to
not lying.
describe a storyline from the Goonies
No.
and trying to claim it
This
as
happened.
a portion of his childhood. So now
this
you're
happened.
in the Lulu Dave
Dude
situation
slammed
here.
on his. This actually
Having
fucking
too much
happened.
apple juice.
Slammed, and he's like, "Holy shit, kid! What the hell is?"
Do you
wrong
know
with
when
you?"
I was a
I'm-
kid, me and my friends played baseball, and it was in this really big sandy field. And one day I hit a home run over the fence, and this giant dog chased after me when I tried to get it.
Listen,
That's
what
the
happened to
Sandlot,
me-
right?
What happened to me happened 1 year before the Goonies came
Isn't
out.
that You're Killing
I'm
Me
just
Smiles? Isn't that that?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh, so the Goonies
So-
got it from you.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything of
That's
importance
likely.
that happens
My
in
brother
this world,
thinks-
I thought of worse.
My brother thinks he's Josh
Worse.
Brolin.
I'm just saying. I'm not actually not lying to you guys. It actually did happen, and it wasn't 50 yards. It was like I really did try to cross the intersection at Little Peach, and my bike did connect, and my handlebar did actually get caught up. I'm not lying to you.
I have a question.
This really did happen. The car was almost stopped. It was coming to a stop, but my handlebar did connect with it, and the guy was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, kid?"
I have a question. Why did you spend so much time at Little Peach? It's far away
because
from
it
Church
was
Street.
an awesome.
We didn't live
This
in
is
Church
back
Street
on
at the time.
Albion. We lived in Albion at that time.
Yeah, it was like. It was
Is
Little
Albion-
Peach was the place. Little Peach had Fun Dip.
Oh, I
Little
love
Peach
Fun Dip.
had like Tedeschi didn't have Fun Dip. CVS
Well,
didn't have
Tedeschi's
Fun Dip.
eventually had Fun
Stop
Dip.
and Shop didn't have. Cody Liquor, my Little League sponsor team, didn't have Fun Dip. Yes, I used to go into a liquor store to buy candy when I was a little kid. They let you do that in the
Mhm.
80s. No lie.
Yep.
Probably
So-
wouldn't let that happen
It's
now.
so funny
but
that a liquor. You think about it now, like a liquor store sponsoring
being a
little
sponsor
team,
for a Little
I
League team.
know.
or
Yeah,
a
I
baseball
know.
team.
Isn't that so
Crazy.
Rockland though? Like my team was Cody Licka. Cody Licka.
Lickers.
Who I played for.
Cody's.
What happened to them? They had this is back when Fun Dip was made with like the real stuff, the real sugar, and not like that fake chemical stuff they come up with in a lab. It was like real sugar. It was so good. I love Fun Dip. For my
Me too.
birthday, I want you both to get me Fun Dip.
I love Fun Dip too.
Will do. I'm gonna make a
stick-
note right now.
The candy stick is the best part of it.
Yes.
see?
You know what I have done? I have looked so hard.
I
To
disagree.
get- to look for
I
the
want
Lickamade
the
sticks.
sugar.
I have. Well, that's what the stick is. It's all sugar. I've looked so hard to try to find the Lickamade sticks, just the stick. You can't find just the stick. And there's
That's so
people.
wrong.
There's people that have like recipes to try to make it, and it's just not the same. So literally, the only way to get it is to buy Fun Dip. And other companies make their own, and it's just not the same. It doesn't taste the same. It doesn't have the same flavor. You have to get Fun Dip to get the Lickamade stick.
Lickamade.
Lickamade.
Lickamade. What a
Lickamade.
cheap. It's like GoBots with Transformers. It's just a cheap knockoff of Fun Dip.
Do you know
That's
every
all I'm
time I think of generic?
No,
I
but
think of the-
Lickamade. Lickamade is the stick. That was the stick. That was the Fun Dip stick. Is the Lickamade stick?
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it is.
Lickamade was like its own separate thing, wasn't it?
No, the stick is Lickamade.
Was it a Lickamade? Oh,
Yeah.
whatever.
Let's keep all saying Lickamade. Lickamade.
Lickamade.
Lickamade. Lickamade.
The cheap knockoff was My Pal that I had
Yes,
when I was
that's
a
what
little
I was
kid.
just gonna say. I
While
was
all
gonna-
the little rich kids had My Buddy, I had My Pal.
My pal.
Hey, you know what? You loved that
In
little My
G.I.
Pal.
Joe, you had Commander Dan or something, right?
Yeah, we didn't have GI Joes. We had Commander Dan.
No, we got GI Joes. We got GI Joes.
Don't spoil the legend, David. You're
No.
ruining the legend.
No, you know what? The My Pal is legend enough. You loved that thing. You loved that creepy little thing. You loved it. You took it everywhere.
Didn't one of you guys have a Hulk Hogan too? That like
that was me.
stretched
I had
or
Hulk Hogan.
something.
That was
right?
Dana.
Yeah. There's a picture of you like wrestling him. I think that I have.
Yeah, that was like a 3-foot tall plastic Hulk Hogan. It was awesome. Yeah. We gotta wrap this thing
I
up.
know, my
'cause,
word.
I mean,
It's past my bedtime.
Here he is. I had to find him. We can't just talk about my pal and not show my pal.
Let's see him.
It had a bowl haircut. I remember that much.
Oh my god! I didn't know that was your pal. I just
That
thought
was
that
my
was
pal.
like a random toy.
Does
Look
that
how
thing
happy you
My
look.
He was very happy. He was very happy to have his little serial killer plastic buddy. That's all I'm saying. Does that thing not look like it would come alive at the stroke of midnight and try to stab you? Look at it. Look at it. That murder. It thinks of murder. You know it does. I'm going to kill this little boy. I'm going to kill him dead while he's sleeping. Him and his sweet mother both. I shall murder them, Father.
What is this accent? It's like British, but not British. I don't understand what's happening.
I shall lick the blood from my knife as I murder them. Him and his big brother both. I shall wipe the smile from his face, Mother. Murder! Murder!
Oh my god! I'm gonna have nightmares about that.
Hey, I don't make the news, I just report it. And that's what that thing's face was saying. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god. Oh, my stomach hurts. Oh. Oh my god. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, what are we looking at?
Just me and Dave chilling. For some reason, I have no shirt on.
Oh my god. I'm legit crying right now. Oh.
So people really actually watch this podcast? Like people, members of the family?
Yeah. Oh, here's a better picture of my pal. There he is.
Look at it!
Oh
Look
my
at it.
God. Oh, look how much Landon looks like David in that picture.
I know, doesn't he?
Oh my god.
No. You know what? Focus on the my pal, please. Please focus on the my pal. So Landon, Mason, Hunter, your uncle right now, the look on his face in his sweet Miami Vice shirt right now. By the way, shout out to Auntie Dolores who sent that to me for Christmas one year. So thank you. That is the face of a boy who knows that his brother's special pal is a serial killer.
Look at my pal. Its eyes are facing in a different direction than they were in the other picture.
It is.
Yes. I shall
Well, did
look
they move?
in
Did
another
they
direction.
have those?
No.
I shall look in another direction.
I thought they just looked straight forward from what from my
The
memory.
young brother does not know that I shall kill him. Murder! I shall murder him.
The young brother.
The young brother. I shall hover over him at night time, staring into his sleeping, innocent face, thinking of murder. That thing was fucking creepy. Thanks, Mom. No, I'm just saying.
I
right
loved
now,
my pal.
You loved it. You loved my pal. It was like your protector. It was like, I need to be a good big brother, otherwise this thing is gonna kill me. if I treat my little brother like even like a little bit like big brothers treat their kid brothers, this thing is gonna like murder me in my sleep.
Mom's version of my pal, Michelle.
Ah, look at me.
Look at her thinking, murder. I shall murder. That's why I have that look on my face like, Am I hearing this shit right now, Mom? Did you hear what she just said? And Dana's like, yeah, she is. She did say she was gonna kill us.
And I'm just on the stool spinning around. Whee! Whee!
Oh my god.
Whee!
That might be the only picture of the three of us as young kids.
It might be.
I don't think so.
All three of us.
All of
together.
us together?
All three of us together, yeah. Oh,
You kicking me out?
No.
well.
Oh my god.
That can't be the picture.
Seriously.
That can't be the only picture of all three of us.
It's
I
the
think
only
it is
picture,
as a
Dana.
kid.
Accept it.
Until
think it
until
is.
high school.
Children,
Until
Until
high
this one?
school, yeah.
That's
The
like
one in
that's
the
literally
kitchen?
the next picture
Yeah.
of the three of us.
I think it really
Yes.
is.
it really is.
Look at Dave's cool guy smirk. Hey.
Because they're all like either two of us, either or of us.
Yes, it's either the two of you, or really, it's you or me, Dana. Dave
So
and I
that's
have like
marked-
one picture together. We don't have that many.
See, now you guys know why I left at such an early age, because I wanted to escape the wrath of my pal, because it was going to kill me.
The truth comes out. That's a good one. Oh man.
All right, guys.
Mom's
Probably-
thinking, well, at least I have two of my three boys in this picture.
You guys ready to wrap up?
Oh.
I hope.
I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed. We were
I hope
probably
the-
ready to wrap up like.
Oh,
40
I've been
minutes
ready to
ago.
wrap out like 40 minutes ago. I've just been, talking off the cuff because the camera's still rolling. Gotta give the people what they want.
I love that Dave was like, so people really watch this, huh? They really check this out.
Well, I don't know.
I had a friend. Shout
I
out
thought
to
this was
Dottie.
just the three of us. I thought the three of us were the only people that cared. I didn't know that our family gave a shit what we talk about.
Listen, Dottie, who is my best friend's mom, shout out to her. She has texted me every day since mom has passed. Every single day, no word of a lie. And she texted me today 3 hearts, which is what she does. And then she said, no Sibrib this week? And I said, oh no, I just forgot to share it. And I said, you gotta like our Facebook page. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I said, I'm gonna share. I'll invite you to like it. That way you won't miss any episodes. So yes, people watch. Some people watch.
My friends are like, oh yeah, I think I saw your Facebook Sibriv page come up.
I don't think they actually listen.
Actually, one of my staff
If
members
they're
was
gonna
like,
start,
oh,
this is the
This
one.
is the episode. Yeah, you want to see Dave in his full glory, his
Yeah.
full apple juice sippy cup glory.
This is why my friends are always like, Dave, you need to start drinking. You're way too quiet. You need to start drinking apple juice. Just to be clear,
Apple
Dave,
juice.
you must drink some juice of fruit juice. That makes you more talkative.
Juice of fruit juice.
Well, grape juice is usually what they're encouraging me to drink.
Yes.
Because, like Tyrion Lannister, I drink and I know things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very wise. I mean, your big brother is pretty wise. He knows a lot. I mean, I think if the world took my advice, the world would be much better off. I really
Yes,
do.
you've already told us you want to be dictator, so
Well, I mean, come on.
we
Would
must
it be so
all
bad?
bow down to King Dave.
No, you don't have to bow down to me. You just need to listen to my infinite wisdom.
you don't have to bow down, but you need to listen.
Listen, I mean, I cut through the BS and I tell people exactly.
This environment
like,
is feeling
here's what
very
you do.
toxic right now, and
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I hurting the feelings of the millennials right now? Am I not creating enough space for you to express your inner self and your feelings and your inner children to be able to express?
You're
the
a
things that they
therapist. Aren't you all about the feelings?
You know what? I am a therapist, and you know what? You know what my clients have told me? Dave, I'm so thankful that you're just real with me. That's what my clients have told me. So, there.
and then they go
That's
home
all
and
I
they
got
say
to
to
say.
they go home and they say to their friends, "My therapist is kind of an asshole."
Oh my my god.
Okay. I'm actually very supportive. I've had many of my clients tell me that they appreciate that I listened and that I seem to genuinely care about what they have
Listen,
to say.
You
Why
shouldn't be
haven't you
vi-
opened your eyes in like a minute and a half?
Because if I keep my eyes closed, you guys will think I'm being more sincere.
He's trying to think
You're
of.
dumb
He's
enough
trying to think of the
that.
next movie that he's going to claim as his life story.
Listen,
There was that one time I was a therapist for a mobster, and I got caught up with the mob.
Is that The
that has
Sopranos?
listen, that has never happened. Yes,
It is. Okay.
if you're really one of our siblings, you'd know that already. But
We've talked
Ignoring
about this. We've talked about how I haven't seen it. This is not a secret.
my wife is My wife is angry at me, by the way, because I did not text her enough while she was sleeping to let her know how much I loved her. So I texted her to assure her, I really do love you. I was just very busy at work.
It was one of those days, I guess. My day was insane too.
So she texted me when she woke up and she was like, "Good morning, husband." And usually it's "Good morning, dear husband." Wasn't that today? So I'm like, "Oh, she's mad." So I said, "Oh, good morning, my beloved wife. Did you sleep well?" And her response was, "Of course the wife did not sleep well because her husband forgot all about her." And I was like, "Oh,
I love her.
get out of here." You know what?
Hawaii, let me tell you, it really hurts me that your husband didn't message you enough.
It sounds like you really miss your husband, and you know
Now
what,
is
kiddo?
not the
You know
time
what,
to take
kiddo?
my advice.
I miss him too. I'm validating your feelings.
Yes.
I'm sorry, kiddo. Sorry, buddy.
I mean, he did
You're
move
both-
3,000 miles away from his siblings. We totally understand.
For your birthday this year, you're both getting my pals.
My birthday
You're
passed.
both getting.
Yes.
No.
Give me my pal. I want my pal back.
I want my pal back. Okay, we gotta wrap this up for
No.
real. Oh my
No,
god.
no, little brother, not the friendly my pal of your youth, the real my pal.
The real my pal.
The real my.
The
one
real
that
my
your big
pal
brother
was my
saw.
buddy, and he had a big smile on his face, and he was friendly and happy,
I think-
and
I
brought
think-
millions of rich kids joy.
I think what Dave is
Apparently, my
referring
pal
to,
was the murderous doll that us poor kids got.
It was like the
Yes.
Chucky doll. What I feel like you're describing is Chucky. Oh man. Okay.
Everybody,
We've been
I
going
hope
for
you
almost
have.
2.5 hours.
Yes, I hope you all enjoyed this family therapy / Reddit reading / off the wall Dave's drinking apple juice session, and we hope you have a lovely summer. We will
Yes.
be back in August,
Yes.
and with some fresh new episodes. Michelle's going to have the first one for us. and
I
She's got a month
know.
to think about it, so
Pressure.
we're not going to be telling you what's happening next week because there is no next week. So until August, for an official Sibriv episode, be on the lookout for little side things that may be
Tidbits.
little tidbits that may be going on throughout July from Sibriv, but full episodes will resume in August. I hope you all have a wonderful week, wonderful month.
Hey, hold on.
And David's going to interrupt
do-
because he wants to hear his voice some more.
Because he wants to what some more? Is that
Hear
what
his
you said?
voice some more.
Yes, David, speak.
If I do some dispatches from Vietnam,
I was going to
can
suggest
those
that.
go on the Sibriv thing?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Maybe my beloved wife might
would
like
love-
to be part of the podcast.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you both.
Yes, maybe I will do some interviews of family if they will let me. And
Oh.
we can
Excellent.
throw the, a little 10-second this or that or something like that. We'll figure it out.
I'm sure after this episode, everyone's going to love to be a part of it.
You're welcome.
Until next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Murder. It's apple juice.
It's
Mine
apple
is
juice. Hold
mine
on.
is literally cranberry juice in Fresca.
All right.
This was our best episode yet. I loved every second of it.
This is the best episode to us. Anyone watching is gonna be like, "What the fuck is wrong with these people?"
I love it. I mean, this is us. We laugh, we go serious, we go back to laughing, we go serious. I mean, this is my favorite when we have these. These are my favorite ones. The Reddit ones just bring up all sorts of crazy nonsense. And of course, Dave drinking is like chef's kiss.